Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, man?
Very good, thank you. How are you, mate?
Getting over the flu. So
Yes.
if I sound a little bit, that'll be why.
Yesterday you looked like a fucking corpse, and today you're doing not bad. So
Yeah, it's
you're
because for
bouncing
the last 2 days I've had to be out in the garden filling up a skip with dirt and rubble from digging that ditch. I thought I was going to have a week to do that. But then after the skip got here for a good 3 or 4 days, it was so cold, the ground was frozen solid. I could not get a spade through this stuff. And then I got ill and had to do all of this with the flu. But we're there now, so that's all done. Studio is
looking pimp.
almost done. I'd say a week, maybe 2 weeks, and that will be in there. So I would definitely say, never say definitely, but let's definitely say the next episode of this podcast will be from the studio.
Sick.
Hopefully.
Fucking sick.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. Really
too.
looking forward to that. As always, this podcast is brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. Go and grab it.
Yes.
Beauty. Big thanks to Perry and the guys over at Ormsby Guitars for showing us some love and support. Please do head on over to their website and check out some of their beautiful wares. Their stunning wares.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely guitars. I was going to say made in Australia, but actually most of the ones you're going to be buying are Korean.
Correct.
Which are then sent to Australia and then dealt with and then sent on, unless there are certain European distributors.
Unless they're coming to Europe and then they go through the European distributor. Yeah. And yeah, but it's Perry's own. You get the nod of approval for QC, so it's just as good. Funny you mentioned that, actually. I think it's Martin Vandermaat, I think is the gentleman's name, who is the main importer and the European distributor.
Right.
Him and his colleague went over to meet Perry, spend some time with him, and they both got to build their own factory custom with Perry.
I saw.
Which is obviously the next evolution of the GTR range and stuff. Jesus Christ, what a great idea.
Yeah.
And that's not me even talking like we were lucky enough to get sponsorship. Let's plug it. Like, genuinely, what a fucking great idea. So good.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I've heard people say about the guitars really is like, oh, it's hard to get aftermarket pickups or whatever. Like, we don't need to worry about that because you can then spec the exact pickup type that you want straight from Australia and not have to worry about like the guitar coming over from Korea to then be QC'd for the pickups to be changed there and blah 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 whatever. Like, it's all on fucking point.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah, very cool. We've got a few things to talk about today, some of which kind of fall in line with what we were just talking about there. The idea of, these guitars are manufactured somewhere, they are then sent on somewhere else, quality control and sent out. That's a common business model. It's done a lot in this day and age. Obviously, we'll have a TTM update to see how you shouldn't do this, but I'm also going to talk about GOC guitars. Right,
because you asked about this the other day, and I didn't know where you were going with it.
Yeah, I'll give you the rundown on that as we go through the show. But also,
this bad bastard does this to me all the time, and I know you guys enjoy it, and I enjoy it as well. To be fair, but I always feel super underprepared coming in because Levi's like, "Oh, I've got everything set up, none of which you know about."
Yeah,
it's good. Like we get natural conversation from it, but also I feel like
you're in the hot seat.
Yes,
yeah, that's good.
I feel like Carol Pilkington, but not funny.
You're funny. I think you're funny. People.
Oh. Stop.
People think you're funny, just hard to understand.
Funny looking.
Yeah.
Funny sounding.
Yeah, cool. So several things to talk about today. We are going to talk about how 90% of new guitarists abandon the instrument within a year, apparently. So we're going to talk about Abassi guitars. Remember those?
Yes.
Abassi guitar concepts? Seems that they're still just concepts at this stage. Yeah.
Throwing shade from the fucking start.
Along with GOC guitars and TTM guitars, of course, because we all want a TTM update. We are going to talk about, what is this, Halocene?
I believe that's how you would say it,
yeah. And versus the Masked Singer. Legal fees, because of course our podcast is 90% just talking about legal issues.
You know what? You may as well just be calling yourself, I am not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Levi, I am not a lawyer, Clay.
And I've definitely got an I am not a lawyer opinion to give people on this one.
So, just before we go any further, I'm incredibly excited to hear what Levi's opinion is on this, because he basically told me, you don't know what I'm going to say and you probably will not expect it, and it will have not consequences, but it'll get a reaction.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
We're going to laugh at a bath.
Partially.
Yeah. Actually, probably not. Este Haim, is that Este Haim?
From the band Haim, yes, the bass
hard
player.
To pronounce. We're going to talk Diamond Head.
And I've got a really good story about Diamond Head.
And I'm going to play a video, and I'm going to start the show by playing this video. So in our group chat, you'll remember I posted just a word, a title, and it was a title to a YouTube video. I didn't want to post a link to the video
No,
because
you
I
did, you
didn't
said-
want to risk you clicking it and watching it.
Yeah, you did say like just a note for later.
Yeah.
So I didn't even like Google it or anything because I knew that wouldn't happen. Like I knew you'd be like, no, I wanted you just to watch it fresh.
Yes.
Okay, so I got the impression when it said Alexander Dumble that it was going to be something to do with Dumble amplifiers.
It is absolutely something to do with Dumble amps. So this was sent to us by Barry McAleenan.
Nice.
Hi,
Barry.
He said that this was hilarious and couldn't deal with how funny it was, and that he's sure you would get a kick out of it.
Oh, I see.
And I'd seen bits of this before, but never this much of it. So we all know who Alexander Dumble is, right? Alexander Dumble makes Dumble amplifiers, some of the greatest, or certainly argued the greatest amplifiers ever made.
Maybe you mean the most sought after.
Let's go with that. Yeah, cool. So this is let's go with a promotional video of what Dumble amplifiers can do. Alexander Dumble features in this video. He's kind of sat in the background and he answers some questions. Henry Kaiser is demoing the amplifiers. Okay?
I
You
do
good?
not know who Henry Kaiser is.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Make sure I'm actually getting volume on this. Yeah, good. Right. Enjoy.
A peculiar effect that you could use that in metal music and it would sound great, sound like you're doing these incredible runs. Let me play an example.
So it's Alexander Dumble sat on the chair.
Is this a Shreds video?
It's not it.
Even the way, like, he sounded like Dr. Steve Brule when he was talking there. Remember the incredible runs he was talking about going to come in? Remember I had the Korg Miku pedal?
Yeah. Imagine being Alexander Dumble in this going, this guy's demoing my fucking gear. No one's going to buy this shit. But yeah.
Even more importantly, imagine being Alexander Dumble and going, why did I think that a channel that randomly sounds like it's got a bit crusher and an octave on it is a good idea?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy this shit.
Check out this the follow-up demonstration he gives. Right.
Here's a real strange effect. I call this the stutter effect. It's a peculiar algorithm or way of processing sound, a mathematical description of what it does to the sound that's programmed into this eventide unit I can call up. If I play a note, I can set it up so I push a button. It grabs the note. It moves it down. It grabs the note and moves it down.
Is it too much cocaine?
Or up. Or it just makes it stutter. And I could activate these with a foot switch when I wanted to in lines.
Cool.
But I found something a little more interesting, which is I've programmed it to do it at random.
Sorry, what? I've programmed it to do it at random.
Do you think Henry Kaiser's actually the godfather of dubstep and he doesn't realise it?
Crud step.
Just nonsense.
Check this out.
Every once in a while, it grabs a note
cheeky
that
for
I'm
me to
playing
call any
and does something
music
crazy with it, just like some
Nonsense.
little demon.
Given the party cannon stuff.
Oh, this
But Jesus Christ, what is this man on?
listen to this description.
Crazy with it, just like some little demon came along and grabbed the wang bar on the guitar and did something insane with it.
The wang bar?
So if I play guitar and I do something insane with the wang bar and the demon's doing that, it gets some pretty, crazy stuff.
The wang bar.
There's no wang bar here.
Lots of people made that comment when you read the comments here. It's people making fun of wang bar, but actually, I've heard that term a lot. That's pretty accepted to me. Yeah.
Really? I've never heard that term. I've heard whammy bar and tremolo and fibrola, I suppose named after the fibrola 3 years ago, but never wang bar. Because a wang is a penis.
Exactly. I think that's where it comes from.
I can't think when I'm playing guitar and trying to look cool, like just about everybody who took up guitar, trying to look cool for the opposite sex, or in my opinion, in my case, women, that I would ever think, cool, this woman's going to think I'm really cool if I refer to this part of my guitar as a penis.
No woman ever wants you to refer to any part of a guitar.
There you go. It can only be worse if I'm doing so and then trying to pretend that it's male anatomy.
Yeah. So listen to him turn
Sorry,
into Alexander
continue.
now. Right there.
Play something kind of low down for me, please.
What the fuck does that mean? Play something kind of low down for me.
I mean, I think what he's basically just doing is saying a sentence, and Alexander Dumble's just going to play some sort of shit blues, like, because he said on the first demo they could really use this for metal. It'd be a really interesting concept, and all of a sudden you've got a 12-bar blues going on.
Yeah. If memory serves me correct, that he plays some ZZ Top. Yeah. So ready for this amazing effect?
Sounds like something one of Kieran's videos. Doesn't it? It says fuck off.
No.
Fuck off. Barry, did you dub this yourself, man? Jesus. If Carbon covered the blues.
Yeah. Just unbelievable. The most amazing thing about that, when you think about it, right, is that exists and people still bought Dumble amps. In fact, people pay extraordinary amounts of money for a Dumble amp. Maybe it's because of this video. Maybe this is the original guitar meme.
I'll tell you what it is. It's definitely because of this video. It's everyone who has enough money trying to stop Henry Kaiser playing through Dumble amps because they've heard enough of his shit.
Yes.
Like, stop. Stop now. It's almost like it's a civic duty to get yourself in debt to own one of these amplifiers. Only for everybody's, like, public greater good.
Yeah.
Fucking trumpet.
Yeah, so no more of that. Now we're going to talk about Diamond Head. So Brian Tatler says that Metallica's royalties are his biggest source of income. This actually ties in quite well with a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about in the episode, especially with that fundraiser, because it's about music publishing. We're often talking about that side of things, the legalities of music, recordings, and publishing versus mechanical royalties.
There's been a lot of interesting stuff going on with Taylor Swift in the news. And not to bring it up in the middle of this, but we can talk about that as well.
I hadn't seen.
No, basically, the record label that she would, sorry to totally go off topic. The record label / producers that she worked with early in her career own the mechanical rights to the songs, so she wasn't allowed to play them. No, not mechanical, sorry. They owned like the copyrights on the actual songs.
The publishing.
It must be the publishing, yeah.
Right.
So that they wouldn't allow her to perform her own songs at some of her own gigs. Somehow, like, this clause they had was up until, I don't know, say 2022 or whatever. Anyway, she's got some form of award for like a lifetime music career award. I don't know exactly what it is. Sure. I'd need to look it up because it's totally off the cuff here. But essentially, she was wanting to play a medley of her stuff from the start of her career until now as like a paying homage to herself.
Sure.
And they turned around and said, "No, you can't play these songs, or we'll sue you."
Yeah.
I think it's
feasible. Yeah,
they've come to an agreement now, but essentially what they were going was, "Hi Taylor Swift, money."
Yeah. Well, yeah, you'd need a license to perform a song, and that's easy to do if you own your own publishing.
Yeah.
But if other people own your publishing, and I would imagine it's more a case of, no, I want more money than you're offering to be able to perform the song.
I don't even think she offered money. I think they basically just went, "Pay us or you can't do it."
Yeah.
And I think eventually she went, "Right, okay, fuck
it."
I don't know the full scenario. We need to look into that.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
I'll
one for
look
next
into that
episode.
and we'll
Sorry.
talk about that at some other point.
Just one other point before you go further. You're talking about how there's good segues between talking about like Diamond Head and obviously them living off the royalties. It's funny because my story about Diamond Head is to do with Megadeth.
Oh, okay.
And living off royalties,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll continue with that in a bit.
Yeah, for some reason in the start of the show, I didn't actually even mention the fact that we've got that interview with Keith. So that's coming later on in the show, guys. Okay. So I'm going to read the story, and then you can tell me a Diamond Head story. So, British metal veterans, Diamond Head influenced a slew of the early '80s thrash metal bands, in particular Metallica, who recorded the band's "Am I Evil" as a B-side to their 1984 Creeping Death single, and again including it on the band's multi-platinum 1998 covers album Garage Inc. Metallica would record 3 additional Diamond Head songs: "Helpless" from Garage Days, "The Prince" was a B-side on one, and "It's Electric" also on Garage Inc. So asked if he remembers the first royalty payment he got from Metallica, Diamond Head guitarist Brian Tatler told Sweden's Rock Svergi.
Locksverage, I think it is.
Okay, cool.
Just guessing.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, I think it was the early 90s, like 1990. We were in the red at first with our publisher. Diamond Head didn't sell many records, so we never really recouped on our advance. We split in 85, so there was nothing happening there. There was a publishing issue where our old publisher had some of the songs, like It's Electric, Helpless, Sucking My Love, etc. And it took me a bit of time to get it away from them. When we signed to MCA, we also signed to Zomba Publishing. So again, I'm always talking about this as a concept in videos with people. Learn the difference between a record company and a publishing company and what each of those outfits does and why those two things are important.
Why don't you give a quick, today I learned for everyone, a quick 5-second explanation?
Sure. Very simply, a record label is the company that comes in and pays you, in essence, to record your songs, and they then sell those recordings. They do not own the songs, they own the recordings of the songs. A publisher is somebody that takes hold of the intellectual copyright, if you like, of the song itself. So not the recording, but they own the actual. They administer the ownership of the concept of the song, if you like. So if you want to do a cover of a Taylor Swift song, you don't go to her record label for that because they don't own the song, they own the recording. If you wanted to play the recording, you would then, of course, need to deal with the record label and the publisher for that because you're using the thing owned by the record label. But if you wanted to cover the song, that would be dealt with via the publisher because, so shock horror, there's a lot of money in publishing because people cover songs all the time. And as we're about to find out here. So Zomba Publishing. And they were saying all of the money was coming in, but it's going to our management, so it wasn't coming to me. I had to get a solicitor involved and do all the homework, and in the end, they had to get Zomba to split the payments so my share would come to me, which makes perfect sense, and Sean's share to him. So that's the former singer of Diamond Head. Then it went to black and started creeping up. Of course, Metallica hadn't sold that many records. In 87, they did Helpless on the Garage Days Revisited, and at one point Lars was helping me. He asked, "Are you getting your royalties?" And I said, "No, not really." And he gave me a lawyer to contact and said, "Speak to this guy at Elektra." He put me in touch with people, and he was determined that I would get my due. And he did help me in any way that he could. It did take a bit of time, but it came eventually, and it's never stopped flowing ever since.
Lars Ulrich doing something that means somebody else makes money?
Yeah.
I don't believe this. Sorry, Brian Tatler, are you telling lies? No, I'm only kidding. I think that's good. I like to see that. That's a nice, unexpected story to hear about Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
Him just being like, and I don't mean that in a pure nasty way, but all the fucking press conferences or media coverage you get of Lars Ulrich is usually just slating him because he's low hanging fruit. He's an easy target because he never really fights back, and everybody just goes, "Oh, lol, he's a bad drummer,"
and he cares more about business than music, and
that's
exactly
why he's got a
what
lot of money
doing here. It's helping someone with business rather than dealing with the music side of things.
Yes,
and that's amazing to hear that all these years later, despite the fact that these are not Diamond Head's recordings, it's simply their publishing. That even now, that those Metallica recordings are his biggest source of income. And just quote that one more time. Biggest source of income. There is so much money in publishing. Some of the richest people in music are the songwriters that write for the pop artists.
Oh, totally. Is it Max? What's his surname? He's like a ghostwriter, and he writes for every pop artist you've ever heard of. And he's like the music industry's richest guy.
Yeah.
Just because he's written all these songs for people. And
essentially
it's fucking 4 chords at a time.
Tons of guys out there like that. Like Guy Chambers would be another one.
Yeah, I know there's like a good number of them. I think the reason the names don't roll off the tongue, you don't remember them very much, is because they're happy for it to be in the background. They're not interested in the fame of it. They just want their payments.
They do, yeah.
And fucking well done to them, man.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's a hard industry to make money, and if you're good at it and you can be that focused and that business oriented and somehow separate your ego and your abilities and be happy and make a living from it, then wire in.
Yeah, so publishing, guys, that's the thing that you want to get into. That's the thing that if you want to be making some money, become a songwriter, not necessarily an artist, because money makes the world go round. Unfortunately,
You know what? I'm going to randomly segue again, and this is something that I've not brought up with you either because I've just thought about it. And it's totally off topic. Well, on topic, but totally away from metal and this kind of thing. Have you heard Maroon 5's latest single?
I have not heard the latest single. No.
It's called like Memories or something. Do you think we'll get a copyright strike for listening to just the chorus?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to let you listen to it later on, right? Sure. And I'm just going to complete spoiler alert for everybody and anyone that's heard it and hasn't noticed this. I don't know how. It is just Pachelbel's Canon. It's the same chords, and the vocal melody goes do 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 do. It's just Pachelbel's Canon. How are they getting away with this?
Well, how old is Pachelbel's Canon?
But I just mean, like, surely people recognise that and go, "Oh, that isn't their fucking song." It upsets me. I heard it on the radio and I was like, "Why is this so familiar?" And it took me maybe a minute or two, and then I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But it's not even like you could say it was influenced by it. It's so fucking obvious.
Yeah.
Cunts.
Yeah, I don't know what the state of the publishing would be on that. Publishing expires.
No, of course, yeah.
Expires.
And they become kind of public, don't they?
Yeah, I assume it's long gone. But who knows? You always find these strange exceptions to the rule.
But just like I said, it was a bit of a segue. I'm not bothered about someone is due money because they've done it. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, it's such a fucking lazy attempt at passing off music as your own. Like, I don't even want to say how stupid do they think you are, because the video apparently had something like 111 million views in a week. People are fucking stupid.
I've not listened to it because I've not listened to any new Maroon 5 songs in a long time.
Good.
Because
Keep it that way.
It hurts me that their first few albums are so good, and then they became like an actual R&B pop band rather than when they were a funk rock band.
I mean, well done to them in monopolising them, but not to the point where you're losing all originality.
Yeah.
And just in a total personal opinion, anytime you put Cardi B on a track, you should have your career automatically cancelled.
Yeah, okay, so tell me your Diamond Head story.
Right.
While I eat soup.
Mike, this is like the Big Mike talk show tonight, isn't it? Yeah. It's just me rambling on. So, take you back. This would have been 2009 maybe, right? So I would have been... In fact, no, it must have been well before that. I was still at school, so let's say 2006 or 7 maybe. Anyway, Megadeth were playing in Glasgow at the Carlin Academy, which is now the O2 Academy. Diamond Head were supporting, right? And I was like, that's cool. I don't know any Diamond Head stuff, but I know Am I Evil, obviously, right? Having progressed my ears and my musical knowledge going from Metallica into Megadeth, taking it up a step.
Yep.
Getting away for the fucking low hanging. No, I'm only kidding. But it is kind of entry level. Like it's like a gateway drug, isn't it? I'm right though.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like even when Keith, who we're going to have in the episode later, was talking about Nirvana.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. I'm like that is the gateway into like alternative music.
I just wanted to interrupt him and say nobody's perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Saying I got into music via Nirvana. Well, nobody's perfect.
Says you that likes fucking country and western swing. Sorry, right. So anyway, we're at this gig, right? Myself and Ryan Blaney. Hiya Blaney, you're probably listening to this. I know you like a wee listen now and then. Him and I were kind of hanging around. We went into the gig super early, and I mean like, I think we're in the queue at 4:30 in the afternoon. Right. Doors aren't till 7. Because both of us were like, oh my God, fucking Megadeth, this is going to be class. I think we actually left school early to go into Glasgow. I'm pretty certain we left school early, like just halfway through the day, like, why just go into Glasgow? Sound, right? Anyway, I went to Glasgow, we went.
He's a teacher now.
He is. I love Blaney. He's one of the most intelligent guys I've ever met. One of the most loving, most articulate, and he's also mental when he wants to be as well, and it's just the best mix. So anyway, him and I, young, impressionable metalheads, growing our hairs out, thinking that fucking we're cool as fucking Dave Mustaine's God and blah 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 and whatever else, right? So we're hanging about with people we knew in the crowd, in the queue, and they were drinking, and I didn't drink at that point really. I didn't even drink plenty, a couple of beers. Anyway, round the back, because someone said the bus is round the back and Dave's about to load in and blah blah blah, and they're all going to start going in. So we're round the back and waiting on Dave, and I can't remember who was playing lead guitar at this point. I want to say it wasn't Sean or Glenn Drover, it was before that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're standing out there, and there's this like kind of haggard minibus, almost like a almost a panel van but with windows, right? Kind of sitting in, and then a couple of guys came out and start lifting stuff, and me and Blaine are like, fucking state of them or whatever. And I think Blaine said something like, nice van, mate, or nice bus, mate, right? And it fucking scowls for these guys, like just being young arseholes thinking we were being funny, right? And then we go into the gig, and sure enough, who's on the fucking stage? Those guys that were scowling at us. It was fucking Diamond Head. And it was just this, like, me and him, like, check these cunts out. Let's state of them. Just this horrendous disrespect. Like, unrequired disrespect. Yeah. And both is like, we were the arseholes in that scenario, weren't we? Like, totally.
So that's the greeting for Blaney from now on. Nice van, mate.
A nice van, mate. I'm sure he went like something like, it just anyway went, nice bus, mate. just a pure horrible, passive, sarcastic comment. Brilliant, man. Blaney would probably tell the story better than I would, but that was fucking fantastic, and that gig was unbelievable.
Yeah. And of course, this was years and years before bus wankers, so you couldn't have even said bus wankers. You
could not have said bus wankers.
You can only go nice bus.
I probably can't even say bus wankers because I've never watched In-Betweeners.
Oh, okay.
Even though part of Canon sampled In-Betweeners. just saying.
Okay, let's talk about a bath.
Right. I posted this, obviously, in the group chat between us laughing, and then I kind of went, the comments that people who like black metal that I know are leading towards something that's a bit more sinister than it just being a complete fucking redneck.
Tell me the story then.
Sure. So, a bath...
While I eat more soup.
Black metal musician from Immortal. I think he's the frontman and guitarist, kind of very well known in the black metal circuit. I'm not that well versed, so yeah. I take a step back if I say anything wrong. I'm sorry if I'm misinforming anyone. Anyway, he had a gig booked under his own name. So he's now basically got not a super group, but basically he fronts his own band as a bath, and they play some Immortal stuff and they play some of his other own stuff himself. The musicians in the band, I don't know them. I think they might just be hired guns, or if it's people he might have been into, like I might have as friends since back then. As I say, I don't know anything about black metal at all. Anyway, gig booked in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and there is a massive crowd. Super excited to see him because I don't think he does a lot of public gigs or shows at all. And Immortal have got a bit of an underground following. It being black metal, there's always people who are like chasing that. So he comes on stage, tries to open the set with Count the Dead is the name of the song, and the comment here says at least twice. So he fucks it up 2 or 3 times. Within that time, he has, I think, basically thrown a guitar into the crowd and broken another one, and then tries to go into the song Tyrants by Immortal, the band that he was in and was the front man of, and fucks that as well. And it gets so bad that basically it gets taken off the stage. And there are videos of him trying to play. I'm assuming Levi's got them loaded because he wants to watch them. But it's fucking ghastly. It's a guy who's clearly too drunk to even function, trying to play guitar and making a racket and making an arse of himself. As you'll see here. Like, the big thing
fucking paint all over his face. You know what he needs? A bath.
Stop it. That's so bad. So that's quite a bustling crowd. They all look as if they're quite excited. Plenty of phones in the air.
Yeah.
Listen to that. He can't even fret the guitar. That was its only rock and roll, but we like it.
Drummer's just come out.
So there's this big hype about the band, and this is how they come on stage. It's like a fucking battle of the bands at high school. So that's the guitar gone, smashed to bits. Obviously, he's a rock god, so he's not quite crowd surfing.
Poor fucking bass player. It's like, fuck is going on here?
There's other footage, right? Maybe not on this, of him literally inconsolably crying in the arms of someone at the barrier after he's been pulled off the stage. I think that might be it. And as far as I know, the security and the venue pulled him off stage because it was so bad. But he's like sobbing uncontrollably. What I laughed at about it, was black metal is obviously meant to be super serious and cult, and we're the most serious music and blah, blah, blah. And then you've got this guy who's just going so against the grain, and he's a bath. If you're into black metal, you'll know him.
Yeah.
But as I said, further comments led me down the rabbit hole of apparently he has a serious alcohol problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite apparent when you take that context when you're watching the video, that he's clearly off the rails.
Yeah, and while, of course, that is a shame, I'm not going to do a no sympathy thing, but I'm going to say that, for a situation like this to have arisen, it's not just him. He hasn't just put this gig on his own. There's a team of people around him. And at some point, someone should have been looking at the situation and said, this isn't going to work until he gets fucking help.
Yeah.
The band do not look even slightly surprised.
No. They're not even phased. They don't, like... I don't even think MD looks at him when he pulls that guitar off in the middle of that song and smashes it. They're all just like, all right, cool, he's doing it again.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he does this at band practice. I don't know. But
no, it's a shame to see. But also it's black metal, so who cares?
Yeah. If he's struggling, I hope he gets all the help he does.
Yes.
But the longer he doesn't play music, the happier I'll be. And that's as horrible and ignorant as that is. It's just because I don't like black metal. I actually said that in a thread where somebody was telling me about him being alcoholic and stuff. I was like, it's all right, it's only black metal or whatever. And he's like, oh, that's completely ignorant and so close-minded and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, here's my actual opinion on it. I've never heard any black metal or any really kind of black and death metal or anything that's really caught my attention. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't. If you want to send me examples that you think will change my mind, wire in. And at that point, the conversation went silent.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it doesn't do anything for me, and that doesn't make me right or wrong. Like, actually, it does make me right. The statement, it doesn't do anything for me, is objectively correct. Mm-hmm. That can't be argued with. You can send me as much as you like, but it doesn't change the fact that it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not going to say it shouldn't do anything for you. I'm glad that you enjoy it, but it's not for me.
Well said.
I actually do like, so I saw that thread that you were talking in, and the I album, which is more like
rock and roll,
black and roll. I quite like that album. I think that's quite cool. But no, it's not like world-changingly good or anything.
No.
But after listening to plenty of Immortal and then hearing it was very much a case of, okay, that's cooler than Immortal.
What I'll say is it's certainly less offensive, and I didn't mind it being on, but I would not choose it.
Sure.
Personally. It's the same as when Arsis done that fucking rock and roll, rotten roll, I think they called it.
Right.
Where they went from being a technical metal band with super cool shredding and shit to just being shit. Yeah. Sorry, right, so anyway, cool. That's enough of them.
All right, let's talk about some guitar companies.
Oh, speaking of shit.
Yeah. Abassi guitars, they still don't exist. That's not actually true. That's not true. So from looking into this, it seems that if you're in Japan, you can buy these guitars right now.
Well, do you remember, sorry just to cut in, you remember when we spoke about it last, we were talking about how the Japanese company that saw the initial ones that were done placed an order for 15 right away.
Yep.
They're obviously the priority customer. And I think that's where the problems came in, because other people are now seeing these are for sale, not owned by anyone, and theirs haven't arrived.
Yeah. There's no priority customer. If you pre-order this guitar, you should all be a priority customer because the company clearly didn't exist without what is essentially your injection of money into it.
Yep.
So here is this was posted in one of the groups. Brett brought this to my attention. Brett Fairchild, an old student of mine, Berkeley student now, great guitar player, nice guy. So friend of the show. This is someone else's comment on Instagram by the looks of things. Sorry to do this again. I've messaged and emailed again with no response for the third time. When I spam these posts, I always get a reply eventually. Please can I inquire about my Larada's progress? It's November now and I still haven't received any updates. Brett responds to this and says, has anyone got on their guitars other than artists? And Reese Bass comes back with, that's the original poster, I tried sending another DM to them last night. It's been a month since I tried to start contacting them again. Emails, DMs, comments, all have been ignored. As far as I've seen, only artists have received them. Mine was supposed to be finished in June or July. Last contact in August said a delay until October, November. I have absolutely no idea what's happening now. I only know that I've paid a 35% deposit to a company who are not replying to my messages.
That is piss poor.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yes. It went on with him saying, now I've just been left on red. And then that day, Misha Mansur, now I have no beef with Misha, I like Misha a lot, but posted pictures of him and Tosin out in their cars together. Was Tosin driving an Audi R8?
I think so.
And Misha's driving a Lambo, I think.
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous of both of them.
Yeah,
Really?
sure.
Cunts.
Yeah. Shitty. It's absolutely shitty.
Yes.
But there seems to be a running theme with these types of things, right? Which is, as a consumer, you need to be fucking smarter than to just give loads of money to somebody that has no track record of doing the thing that they're claiming they're going to do. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter if Tosin is objectively the best guitar player that's ever lived. It's not an argument I'd ever make. But even if the world all agreed on that as a fact, the best guitar player that's ever made, if he then turns around and says, cool, I'm making guitars now, so what? Like, what's that got to do with... It's got nothing to do with anything. Same if he's objectively the best guitar player in the world and then he turns around and says, I've got a teaching website now. So what? Like, you're not the best guitar builder in the world. You're not the best guitar designer in the world. You're not the best businessman in the world. You're not the best teacher in the world. You're just objectively the best guitar player. And I don't even think you're that. So...
I agree with you. He's a very, very talented guitarist, but I think to try and claim that anyone is best would be fucking stupid.
Sure, yeah. I don't want to sit here and just constantly give the guy a hard time, but, you know, the thing that riled me up about TTM and the thing that riled me up about GOC that I'm going to talk about briefly today is it's customers being left in the dark.
Yes.
It's you taking people's money and then just expecting them to wait and hope that, you know, they get what they were promised. It fucks me right off. And probably more so in Tosin's case because he's trading off of his name. Like, people are giving him the money because it's his name. It's backed by his name. Mm-hmm. And even more egregious is that these guitars are not cheap.
No, they're not. They are not.
Multiple thousands of pounds. Multiple thousands of dollars.
Remind me when you're talking about not cheap to bring something up.
Bring something up.
You want me to do it just now?
Yeah.
Have you saw the price of Kerry King's fucking
yes.
one of 50?
8666.
That's it. So you're going to pay, or whoever pays for it, sorry to totally dive off topic here, right? But $8,666 for a guitar.
Plus tax.
Plus tax. Yeah. That this artist has never played. Yeah. He is on none of the albums, is on none of the PR stuff, with a brand that he's never been affiliated with.
Yeah.
Are you fucking mental?
There are videos. Have you seen the videos?
No.
So he debuted the guitar live at a gig, and it's like the above videos. He fucked up playing his own songs. Yeah.
Terrible looking guitar as well. Like, sorry, Dean, but you fucked up. It's horrible.
Yeah. So update on TTM guitars. I have been following up with a couple of people that are currently going through lawsuits with Lance. Probably the most interesting one is not the $100,000 one that's only for $600, but this is for unpaid wages. Someone that worked in one of Lance's shops,
Good.
was never paid for his time. He was awarded the $700. Lance hasn't paid it and was due to go to a follow-up court hearing, which the documentation said that if you don't show up for this, we'll be awarding further damages, and it will be going from $600 up to $7,000 or something like that.
I mean, there's no point for him turning up because he doesn't have that money and he's never going to pay it anyway.
And this is the key detail, right? This is where the interesting thing is. So the person that's suing has now said, so I've been in touch, or the state has been in touch with me and says that their records show that Lance is filing for bankruptcy.
I saw this post.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Lance is filing for bankruptcy.
But
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, the guy's never getting his money. The guy's never getting his money, right? I'm going to sit here and give you all of these reasons what he should do, but he's never getting his money. And I feel terrible for him because he didn't even buy a guitar. He just did work for someone and then never gets paid for it. He could, follow up through with the bankruptcy and essentially be listed as one of the debtors, one of the people that is owed money, and could get some money in the liquidation of Lance's personal assets, right?
you mean you can't really liquidate the millions and millions of dollars that he's run away with and hidden somewhere?
Yeah, allegedly.
Sorry, allegedly, and I say millions.
We don't even need to say allegedly on this one, because what is he going to do? Sue?
I know. For what I read in that thread as well, like, he's being held personally accountable. It's not TTM.
Well, that was a change, and I made that recommendation as well, because initially on the court documentation it did say TTM, and I said the problem with it saying just TTM is that technically speaking, TTM doesn't exist anymore. That company has already been dissolved. That LLC is already fucking gone. So you need to get that changed fucking immediately.
Yes.
So it is Lance personally now.
I think they could do that because he's facing fraud charges. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah,
because he's named on the
if
mail
he's named on
fraud.
Yeah.
So they can go for him personally because he is the main reason for
Yes.
it. If it's not mail fraud, it was labour fraud, which are, I think, two of the most serious things seen in American courts.
Yes.
When it comes to owed debts.
Yeah,
I know
he's being investigated by the IRS as well. So that is a guy that is in a lot of fucking trouble, and it couldn't happen to a nicer piece of shit, to be honest.
Like Lance being a dick.
We were actually supposed to interview Jason today, and I just didn't follow up with him. We'll do it next time because we did the interview with Keith this time.
Yes.
But Jason is, was one of the dealers, one of the franchise owners, technically, for a while. He is one of the inside guys. He knows the ins and outs of the business. He has an amazing story to tell.
can only imagine.
Him walking away is the biggest thing in the dismantling of TTM that could happen, because he's one of the trusted guys, if you like, the capos, if you like.
He was in the inside circle.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that the other guys below him would look up to and go, Jason says it's cool, it's cool. So for him to walk away...
It's not his shape, that business model, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something strange about that.
Yeah. Jason's lost a lot of money because obviously he invested
That's a fucking shame.
$7,500 plus the money that he'd invested in his own personal guitars, and he never got anything out of it. And he knows, that he's at the back of a very long line of people that are owed money. Most notably, someone suing for over $100,000. So
Yes. Everyone's going for blood, and you know what? I think that's what's needed, just to set a precedent that no, you can't keep doing this, you piece of shit.
Let's hope he. I don't know if the states have some equivalency of debtor's prison, but let's hope at some point he ends up incarcerated for the shit that he's done. And when he does, I'll make sure that we can send him some letters. Fucking clown. Okay, so GOC guitars.
I do not know much about them.
Yeah, me neither.
But
Right. So here's the story. Some people reached out to me.
yes,
Said it was Jason initially, and then a couple of the artists that play GOC guitars. Now. Apparently there were quality issues with these guitars, and it sounded very TTM-like to me. There was a group on Facebook, and people were unhappy about the products that were being delivered, and there was talk of like cheap Chinese shit, etc. So I was
But,
like,
I
okay,
mean-
this sounds interesting.
GOC probably stands for Guitars of China.
It may well do, actually. And so here's the interesting thing: they are a Chinese company. That's the difference. Okay. When I was trying to get the lay of the land and work out exactly what was happening with this situation, I go into this group and I'm like, right, guys, I hear there's a story here. Someone fill me in. And lots of people said, well, I'm really unhappy because of this, that, and the other, right? And I got talking with some people and I was like, right, so am I right in saying that the guitars are turning up and you're now surprised that actually you're just getting cheap Chinese crap? And they've turned around to me and said, well, no, we knew it was a Chinese guitar company.
Mm-hmm.
They were making, it was the company that was making the Strandberg ripoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what they were called. Something beginning with N. I don't care about cheap Chinese.
Neko.
Yes.
Because Neko actually used to have kit guitars in the UK that had
Right.
the three. It was basically a black machine
Okay.
with 3 lines routed out the body
Right.
that you could see right through, and that was like their selling point. Actually, Kieran's pal Dom had, if it wasn't him, it was Stefan. One of the two of them had a Neko
Okay.
7-string,
Right.
and it was for a cheap guitar. It was not bad.
Okay.
But it was a cheap guitar.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Fine. That's the lineage of the company, from what I
Yes.
can tell. And at that point, I lost a lot of interest because it's like, hang on a minute. To all these people that are very unhappy with the guitars they're making, they're receiving. I'm like, hang on a minute here, guys. Are you telling me that you all paid money to be artists and receive guitars from a completely unproven Chinese guitar company, and you're now annoyed that what showed up are cheap Chinese imports? Is that what you're telling me here? And it seems that yes, that is exactly what they're telling me. Surprised Pikachu face. You know what I mean? Like,
I can think of 2 people that I know personally, and I'm not going to name or anything, that went for endorsements just for the sake of having an endorsement. Like that's me. That's the milestone.
Yeah.
With random brands, and when I say random brands, I mean like people that don't have any real following, like either like a really, really independent luthier, someone that's literally just building guitars in their garden, nearly as a hobby.
oh, you could get an endorsement from Alan Forsyth if you wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
Makes great stuff, but also, like, what does that mean? It just doesn't mean anything.
Of course, that's it. It's just a word of mouth endorsement. You're not really getting anything from it. Anyway, like that, we're going down the idea of it being a fucking business transaction or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, again, not to name names or throw any shade or like give them any shit, but both people in this circumstances, within weeks of announcing it on Facebook and making a big deal about it, quietly got rid of those instruments.
Yeah.
Like, I feel sorry for you, but a bit more gumption.
So the only way this story gets a little bit more interesting is that it seems that GOC sent out these guitars to people and they were garbage. The hardware on them was cheap shit. And people were annoyed because they're looking at this cheap shit hardware and then they're finding this same cheap shit hardware on AliExpress.
Obviously.
Yeah. And they're like, you're selling us the same stuff that's on AliExpress. It's like, no shit. This is probably all made in the same... Again, surprised Pikachu face. Why are you surprised that a cheap Chinese import is made of cheap Chinese import stuff? The guitars cannot be intonated. They do not stay in tune. They have the locking nuts slip, etc.
The usual complaints you hear.
Yes.
I'm guessing Lance must be getting rid of some of that hardware he's got then.
Yeah. Yeah. So the odd thing is there's actually another company involved. I don't know a shit ton about them, but I know they have a reputation, which is Guitarmery.
They do pickups?
They do pickups.
Yes.
So these guitars were due to be shipped with Guitarmery pickups in them.
Right.
So I can't really say anything bad about Guitarmery.
Mm-hmm.
What I can say is that he went into business with GOC. He didn't provide the parts, the GOC. The parts are still promised to the customers, but it's now a case of when they're eventually done, they'll be sent to you and you can install them in the guitars. Which is unacceptable.
It sounds like a really, really poor scenario for everybody. Maybe not GOC because they're still getting paid, but I mean, like, I'd imagine the scenario with Guitar Maria is because I think they're all handwound. I think they are actually like proper boutique, as they've bitten off more than they can chew.
Yes.
And now they're going to have to pay for it. Reputation, financial, I don't know.
Yes.
They maybe make it up to customers. I've never heard anything bad about them until this point, funnily enough, because I've heard of people speaking about getting the bass plates from Ormsby and having either instrumental or no, I think it's Guitar that does the instrumental pickups, isn't it?
I'm
STF wise.
Not sure.
I think it is. Anyway, I've heard of them making pickups on custom bass plates and them being fantastic and being sworn by.
Well, I think this is what did it. I think this is what brought people into this. I'm not going to say scam, but bad business decision. Is that because Guitarmery's name was associated with it, people had made the assumption, oh, this will be good quality stuff. Guys, it's never fucking acceptable. It is never acceptable for a company to send you something that is less than up to scratch and then expect you to then put more money into the instrument to fix things when they send you replacement parts. They're now researching alternate bridge pieces and alternate headstock locking nuts, or non-headstocks because they're headless guitars, so they can send them these parts and then the customers can retrofit these. There's even one guy was being sent a replacement neck. That's not how this works. I don't care that you only paid $600 or $700 for this top of the line Chinese headless guitar, right? If a company is expecting you to put it together, it's not even close to top of the line. It's not close. The most important part of any guitar build is making sure that the neck and the body work with each other, that they are paired for each other. They should fit. They should be so unbelievably snug. When people come in and they're like, oh, it was quite a good guitar, but I had to shim it. Cool, so it was a piece of shit then. Just because shimming is accepted as something that people do, anytime you leave air pockets in that neck cavity, you are lowering the quality of the instrument overall, the resonance of the instrument.
I get you.
I even saw Jason from the TTM situation. He's talking about the actual scales of the guitar that are not as advertised. They're not long enough. So even when you bring the bridge back as far as it will possibly go, you can't intonate the guitars. So the only way you can deal with that is to shim the necks forward. Not up, forward. What?
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
The only people I've heard of who... the only counter argument I've got when you're talking about shimming necks, reducing the quality of guitars, the only people I know who have shim necks, like for me or for people I know, it's not just like a plectrum in the neck pocket. It's usually a perfectly fitted piece of wood.
StewMac make custom fitted piece of wood like
and
that.
That's at least a good alternative because better surface area, obviously flat and fitted to the guitar.
Yeah.
Hopefully not dampening resonance and not causing any problems with that. Yeah. So, not as a counter argument, but just a point to make. I think
the fact is sometimes you're going to look at an instrument as a repairman, and that's going to be the only option that you're presented with.
Totally.
That doesn't make you a bad repairman. It means that the person that put this together in the first place didn't get it quite right.
Yeah, or something happened. Like I've seen people who had, like even say like a Taylor guitar, and the only way to get the action down is literally to steam the wooden bridge piece off the body, like playing it flat at the bottom to reduce the height of that, to then put that back on so that the bridge piece, almost like a nut, can be properly put in place. So it's not so low it's hitting off the fucking soundboard and stuff. Like it's that shouldn't be the norm. Certainly not for something like a Taylor. Yeah. But in extreme circumstances, you need to make extreme fucking modifications. Yep. The way to put it. Sorry.
So, in closing on the GOC thing, there was one guy in particular that I said that I'd get involved with to try and help. I reached out to GOC for comment. I explained who I am and what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be talking about. We ended up managing to get that guy his refund.
That's good.
Which is good. They said to me, are you happy now? And I said, I think you're missing what I'm saying here. What I want you to tell me is that, because I'm dealing with a lot of your customers right now, I've got a group chat that I've been invited to with a lot of your unhappy customers. What I would like is to be able to go back to them and say to them that if they are unhappy with the situation, if they're unhappy with their build, if they're unhappy with the way they've been dealt with, etc., that they can come to you, tell you that they're unhappy, and you will refund them. Simple, right? Because not all of them would want that. The point I tried to make is that if you were to make this promise, that actually that would be enough of a commitment to your customers that would probably change the mind of many of them, and many of them would go, okay, so they are really wanting to do the best by us, so okay, I'll stick with it, type thing. But when I
We'll
said
find a
all
way to
this
make
to
it
them,
right. That isn't a full refund. That kind of
they
thing.
came back to me and said, well, we're not going to promise that, and we'll be dealing with each customer on a case-by-case basis. I was like, cool, that's all I need to hear then.
Yep. I'm going to get you a Citizens Advice Bureau sign to put outside your studio, because that's how it's coming across these days, man. It's like you're like a people's champion. You're the Rock. You're the Rock fucking Dwayne Johnson.
Well, this is the slightly annoying part about it. When I first posted in the GOC group, lots of people were reaching out, but one guy in particular was a real dick about it. Like, oh, look, here comes someone trying to make some drama out of the situation, right? Being a mega dick. Oh, just wanting views for your YouTube channel, are you? And I'm like, no, no, I'd really rather not be dealing with this shit right now, because first of all, it's a non-story. The only reason I'm doing this is because, yeah, all right, I've got a bit of an audience, and therefore I have a little bit more clout when I go to a company and say, refund this person, please. Just refund this person. Just help them out. They're in a bad situation. They're going through health problems. You fucked them about enough. Refund them. That has a lot more clout than the customer themselves going, please refund me, please refund me, please refund me. I don't do this for any reason other than to try and fucking help people. I can assure you, it doesn't get YouTube views. No one cares.
And it's not as if it puts you in positive light with those companies either.
Exactly.
You're not gaining anything by except being a good person.
Yeah, and I don't want to sit here and pat myself on the back or virtue signal, because I'm not doing it for any reason other than I feel it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for the praise, because I get enough fucking shit for it. Anyway, this guy specifically, after giving me a shit ton of shit, calling me a Karen, saying our manager will be right with you. Turns out he never even bought one of the fucking guitars.
It's always the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. So everyone's like, ignore that piece of shit. Like, he's got less of a reason to be in this group than even you have. So. So I hope you guys have bought a GOC guitar. I hope you get your refund, really, and you should be pushing for a refund, because it's not acceptable for them to be sending you replacement parts and you having to put them together. Anyway, moving on. Quick story, 90% of new guitarists abandon the instrument within a year, according to Fender. No shit. Did that take you a lot of research?
That was literally the comment you left when I posted that, was just no shit.
Yeah.
We have a member retention issue, says Fender CEO Andy Mooney. What you are trying to say there is, we keep losing customers.
I don't even think it's that. I think, it seems we've got enough magic cards around us, right? It's the same with magic. It's the same with fucking any hobby, right? People pick something up, they try it for a little while, and they go, this isn't for me, and they move on.
Yes.
Guitar is probably even worse for that, because not only, it's not like magic in that, like, you're never going to hurt yourself playing cards. Guitar hurts your hands. When you're new to playing guitar...
Especially when you start playing, you're right, before you build calluses or even muscle strength in your fingers.
Yeah, it fucking hurts. So as a teacher... Well, I don't teach beginners anymore, but, I've taught in schools, and probably the lowest point in my career was when I was teaching for a music school that had just opened, and they had an offer on
new students,
like voucher type thing,
right,
or whatever, one of the equivalents of
Groupon.
It was a Groupon.
Right,
yeah, it was a Groupon deal, right? So they were bringing in tons of students, absolutely fucking tons of students, and they were giving them like 5 lessons for £50 or something like that. Yeah, just obscenely cheap, right?
I mean, it's nearly a clever business model.
It's an awful business model, because your conversion rate was like 5%.
That's my point. They're worried about, if their worry was the same as what fucking Andy Mooney's saying, like, most of these people won't fucking stick it.
Yeah.
They're still getting the 50 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
but that
almost
wasn't
clever,
enough to
but it's
even pay
shit.
me.
I mean, that's not good.
Yeah. The only way around that was to say, ultimately, this is why I left, was them saying to me, I'd bill them for my time, and then they'd pay me less, and I'd be like, hang on a minute, where's this? Where's this? Where's the money for this? Why am I not being paid for this? And they pulled me into their office at one point. They were like, look, we can't afford to pay you when the student doesn't show up. I'm like, what?
It's not my problem.
You booked my time is booked from 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening, right? I don't just go, oh, cool, my student hasn't shown up, I'll go get a shift in McDonald's or whatever. Like, my fucking time is done. And more importantly, you've still been paid. The student isn't here, sure, but you've been paid. Yeah, but we don't make so much on Groupon. make fucking better business decisions then.
Yes.
Like £50 for 5 lessons or whatever it was. 90% of people that take that up go to 2 of them and never bother coming back for the 3 more lessons that they fucking paid for.
So essentially, both lessons cost £25, and there's no reason for them not to pay you properly.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to scroll any further into this story and read because, that would make me some sort of journalist, and I'd rather just make comments based on the title because
That's it. It's clickbait
But,
for listeners.
how can Fender even say this? 90% of new guitarists abandon the instrument within a year, according to Fender. There's only 2 ways they'd know this, right? One would be someone buys a guitar and then they don't buy another Fender guitar within the year, therefore they've given up. Now, obviously, that'd be a stupid way to judge things. The better way that Fender might be in a position to judge this is by using their tuition thing
Fender
there.
Play,
Fender Play? I think it's called Fender Play, yeah. So they could look at that and say, okay, well, 90% of people that sign up for this, they leave within a year and they don't come back.
Because they realise it's dog shit.
Yeah, it's not evidence that...
Allegedly.
That they've given up. Well, no, it's dog shit. It's not evidence that they've abandoned...
I'm just trying to be impartial. But it'll be dog shit. As is any fucking YouTube
Yeah.
monetized fucking... Come and try with this. Check this video. Here's a girl playing this song. Here's a guy playing this song. Here's the girl and the guy in some sort of romantic clinch. Like, fuck off. Get out. Sorry.
Yeah. This just strikes me as the sort of thing that Fender have no business telling you. The only people that are qualified, I would say, to really tell you this stuff are teachers. And you don't ask students this, you ask teachers. You ask hundreds of thousands of teachers, of your new students that you take on, how many are still learning a year later?
But you can't even say that 90% of new guitarists, because then you'd have to go, according to your sample size, which is actually only asking fucking 5,000 teachers in this limited space. It's just such a clickbait title, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to put this up because I know Levi will be like,
But nothing would rile me up as much as this, eh?
Oh, that was my favourite, because as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so good.
So Estee Haim calls out sexist bass face memes, a veiled way of saying that you're ugly. So I checked the band out, Haim. Have you listened to any of their stuff?
Haim are great.
Yeah, they're all right.
Not for you.
Well, I can't say anything negative about them. I can't say anything overly positive about it. Like, it functions. It's music that functions.
Okay.
I can see why they have fans.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not for me. But yeah, so this story, Estee Haim has denounced online jokes about her facial expressions as sexist, saying a male performer wouldn't be subjected to the same comments. Sorry, what? What?
There's literally pictures of John Mayer where there's a slug photoshopped into his hands instead of his guitar because he's making crazy faces.
Yes,
and he's not the only person.
Yeah, that's literally the first thing that popped into my mind. The slug meme.
Gary Moore, fucking Angus Young,
guitarists playing slugs. Look that up. For the longest time, all people have ever done with guitar players that make stupid faces is make fun of them for it. Even when I first started playing, the joke was Steve Vai.
Guitar faces
because of the faces that he pulls.
Yes.
Yeah, people would often say, "Oh, well, I like his music. I just can't take him seriously because of all the." Shut up! Shut up! Yeah, it's very difficult for me to respond to this without immediately sounding very sexist because I want to say things like "you stupid bin," etc. But I just want to scream, "Shut up! Stop trying to play this card. It won't work because it doesn't stand up to this even the slightest bit of scrutiny. People will make fun of you if you pull stupid faces, whether you are a male or a female, because that's what the internet is full of."
And the evidence is there are plenty of men who have been made fun of repeatedly and often and publicly on social media and other women, actually, for that fucking point. Just all musicians that make silly faces, but specifically guitarists, since I started playing guitar. And that was what, fucking 2003, 2004, and way before that too. Like, you're kidding yourself on to expect that this is some sort of, I can't believe they would do this to me.
Yes.
Because I am me, and it's not. It's
because
you're
I
pulling
have
stupid faces.
vagine.
It's because you're pulling stupid fucking faces.
Yeah.
you
And
don't
you know
want
what?
to
I've
be
looked at some
mocked-
pictures of her live, like playing live, and there are a lot of pictures of her pulling stupid faces. But I also think, fucking good on you, hen.
Aye.
Like, you look like you're really fucking into it when you're playing. Like, awesome.
Fucking wire in.
But yeah, that's a veiled way of saying that you're ugly or something. It's not, is it? It's simply just making fun of the fact that there was someone took a picture of you and it's a less than flattering picture.
But my only concern, just because you mentioned
Sure.
journalist, right? The Independent's generally quite good for it, but wait, I'm sorry, we're just going to get this right into this next quote. You'd never say it to John Mayer when
know.
he's like, blah, when he's playing. You know what I mean? No, I don't know what you mean. My exact example before we scroll down here was that John Mayer has a picture of him playing a fucking slug.
Yeah. The fact that I'd assumed that you'd read this from start to finish.
No, sorry.
So the fact that the first example you gave was John Mayer playing the slug was just perfect. It's just perfect.
So, but actually, the next comment straight for that kind of leads on to what I was going to say. So, what I was thinking, in the interest of just being impartial and taking the point serious, and I don't think this article from the start actually portrays what I think her point is. I think she's more annoyed about the physical and sexual harassment of it. Because what the next point is she's saying is she often receives backhanded compliments along the lines of, I love that you don't care what you look like when you play. I love that you don't care what your face looks like when you play. I love that about you. If those are the kind of comments, like, don't be a fucking creepy guy. Don't say that. You would
Is
say
that creepy?
I would think so.
No.
I think so.
No, not even fucking close. You want to see creepy? Go and look at a fucking, go and look at Anita Strauss video, right? Unless someone's insinuating that you're sexy or how they'd love to meet you and spend time with you. That I love that you don't care what you look like when you play. I love that you don't care what your face looks like when you play. I love that about you. You could easily say that to Steve Vai, easily.
You could, but I still think a public declaration of I love that about you to someone you don't know, unsolicited, is a bit weird.
I see the point that you're going for, and I only disagree with you with that specific quote.
Okay.
I think that there are probably much better quotes that would illustrate that.
I'm not saying that is like the de facto statement for it. That absolutely, I'm glad you're on board with me.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that what this is actually about, and that the clickbait headline doesn't give enough fucking context for, is that she's not happy with the amount of creepy, weird comments she's getting, and all because of the faces she pulls when she's playing. That is just like her example. That's why I was saying that's a good one. But there will be mad people saying things like, I don't even want to fucking speculate in the kind of shit that people say on the internet, because it's a fucked up place.
Let's not pretend that the same things don't happen to men.
Oh, totally. Like, I'm not saying that's not the case, but I can see why she would. Not that she would say it's sexist, but certainly would agree that it shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be used as some sort of vehicle for sexual pursuit and horrible fucking objectification. Does that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to victim blame. It'd be very easy for this next bit thing to sound a little bit victim blamey. But let's also not pretend that you aren't a trio, like a girl trio. Despite the fact that if you look at live performances of you, there is a guy playing drums and there is a guy on synthesizers, etc.
But they're not in the band.
But you're marketing yourself but they appear on the albums. There are males that record parts, synthesizers and drum parts on the albums, but you are still being marketed as a female group. And it's kind of like that Nita Strauss thing. Or what's the Jess? Can't think of her name. There's a girl from London that does acoustic guitar covers, and she's always got a very low cut black top on. Jess something or other. She's a great singer. She's a really really good singer. Strums guitar and sings Bon Jovi songs or whatever. Very good singer. But let's be realistic. People watch her videos for two reasons. Well, they listen to them for one and they watch them for another, and she very much plays into that. She knows exactly what she's doing, and that's her right to, and I'm fucking good on you.
Sorry to do this, but I thought you were making a dirty joke when you were going to say they listen for one reason and watch for two.
Okay.
That would have been even better.
That would have been better.
Point stands.
But what I'm saying is...
The internet's for perverts, that's what you're saying.
As a female in the music industry, allow me to mansplain this to you. As a female in the music industry... there's two ways that you can deal with it. You can either accept what it is, play into it, steer into the skid, and use that as the thing that helps you become more successful, or you can desperately steer away from it and then get really annoyed when you never achieve the things that you want to achieve.
I don't really think that's the lesson to be learnt here. I think it's more so just, it's not sexist to have your bass face criticised. Musicians who
Yes.
make silly faces while you're playing get it and have got it
Sure.
since the fucking dawn of the internet.
Yeah.
Right? It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
If you make stupid faces on the internet, you will probably get slagged for making those stupid faces.
Yes.
Right? That's the gist of it.
I don't
right?
want you to think that I'm saying that was the lesson to learn from
No,
this.
of course
Yeah.
not.
You deserve it, bitch. That's not the
Jesus
lesson.
Christ.
That it's more just like, look at the full picture here. Yeah, don't bill yourself as a female group and totally steer into the fact that you're all women, and then also play the, oh well, you wouldn't treat us like this if we were men. Like, come on, have some fucking integrity, have some consistency about these things. This entire subject stinks of I don't care. And this applies to most musicians talking about, most musicians talking about most fucking things. If you've got an opportunity to talk to Enemy or whoever it was you're talking about, talk about your music, talk about your art, talk about, the next album, talk about your songs, talk about, I'm not saying that people don't have the right to talk about this stuff, but like, if this is when you have press, if this is the thing that you choose to talk about,
I think if it had been, if the context had been calling out sexism in the music industry, as well as the fans, then fair enough. It's the way it's been packaged in this article by The Independent that I think is probably where everybody's going.
potentially, yeah.
Whee! Just clickbait.
That's just us.
Us too. I applaud us.
Yeah, I mean, like, I put out the Hellcat Molly album in 2015. That's 4 years ago. It's 4 years ago next month, right? That's a long time ago.
I've known you quite a long time.
Yeah. Given the opportunity, if someone brought me in to talk to me about the Hellcat Molly album, I could talk non-stop about that for 2 hours. At no point would I have to stop and talk about something else.
You still don't shut up about it?
I know. Because
I'm
it'd be
glad.
nice if more than 5 people had heard it.
It is a good album, to be fair.
Okay, so let's go on to this last thing, the Halloween versus the Masked Singer. Do you want me to give a gist, or do you want to give the gist?
What was the gist I wrote in it? Bad
I don't even think...
bad artist covers bad cover of bad song, I think was the way I put it. So essentially, so bad cover of a bad song and bad theft horror.
Yeah.
How I wrote it, right? Which is shit and unnecessary. However, Halloween, I'm guessing that's how you say it, are this duo of YouTubers and musicians who, I don't want to say reharmonise, but they maybe repackage pop songs in
Yes.
their own style, right?
Sure.
Essentially, they want to be Dirty Lips, but they don't have anywhere near as much musical talent, right?
But there are lots of bands that do that on YouTube and do a really, really good job of it. Like, there are
totally.
old swing groups that do it, and yeah.
But no, I mean, their specific thing is that kind of jazz funk,
Right.
like kind of stabs in the music
Yeah.
and making it kind of almost like Stevie Wonder if he
Sure.
wrote like modern pop music
Right.
and stuff. But anyway, that's just me giving my own opinion. I think it's shit. Anyway, it's Halloween who made their own version of Billie Eilish's song "Bad Guy," had it on YouTube, was fairly popular. Blah blah blah. They had their own video to it. Obviously, the track, the way they'd recorded it, had specific guitar runs and bits where there would be breaks and whatever in a certain key. I think there's maybe a couple of key changes and different chords used. And there is a TV show in Australia called, I think is it The Masked Singer?
Yes.
The Masked Singer in Australia, right? And the idea is that someone comes out and sings wearing a mask, and the public vote on them, not about their looks or their image in any way, just about their actual voice.
Yeah.
In The Masked Singer in Australia, this masked singer came out and sung, I mean, almost identically,
Yes.
genuinely almost identically, their version, Halloween's version
Yes.
of Bad Guy. And they aren't happy. They made a video saying that that company and the show stole it. Essentially, they were doing their best to not attack them, but basically say, look, we're calling you out. If you're not going to settle this with us and make it right, we're going to take you to court. And that's then resulted in a fundraiser,
Yes.
which is on fucking GoFundMe. They're looking for $15,000 to.
Which will not be enough to scratch the fucking surface of this. You are going to need a lot more money.
And here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. He's been charging his wee laser there all the way. And he's about to, I'm firing my laser. Shoot
Yes.
the whip away.
Yes.
Shoot the whip away.
So I responded to them. I sent them. I initially wrote an email and then I tweeted them because I wanted their comment. I wanted some input from them. Because actually, I've done a little bit of research into them, and I like them. Not in terms of what they do, but how they do it. They take their music thing very seriously.
They do.
They do something that not nobody, the very few people actually go to the effort of doing, i.e., they license all of their covers.
Which
They
is very clever.
They understand how publishing works, so they reach out to the publishers, they put licensing agreements in place, and they pay royalties to the people that own the songs. Okay, so immediately, hats off to you, good stuff. That's
Great
the
business
way it
model.
should be done.
Yes.
And the fact that you understand that and respect that gives me all of the respect in the world for you. On the other hand,
But
that also demonstrates to me that you understand how this works. You understand how music publishing works, right? I listened to the clips, and you are absolutely right. They have so clearly wanted to do your version of Billie Eilish's song. And that's what they've done. They have done your version of Billie Eilish's song. And there is someone up on stage singing your version of Billie Eilish's song. Now I'm going to keep repeating that part because the last part of that is the important part. Billie Eilish's song. Billie Eilish's song. Billie Eilish owns the publishing, see we come full circle, publishing to that song. You own the recording of your cover of the song. But unfortunately, the Masked Singer have not used your recording, so they do not owe you any royalties there. They have used Billie Eilish's song, and they have recorded a version of it. Now, sure, it's identical to your version, but you cannot copyright a song twice. You can't do it. The song is the composition is the combination of lyrics, melody, and the chord framework. Okay. Many people would even argue, legally speaking, that you can't even copyright the chord progression. That it really comes down to the melody and the lyrics. Those are the thing that makes a song. Again, don't know if I'd agree with it, but fine. What do you think the Australian telly production company, the Masked Singer, were going to do in this situation? Who do you think that they were going to pay money to? They wanted to perform, they wanted to have Billie Eilish's song performed, so they had someone make the music track, and then they will have reached out to who? Billie Eilish's publisher, and licensed the song. You know, like, am I fucking missing something here?
I think you're missing that the point is, I know they're going down a legal route, right?
Yes.
But I'm pretty certain the argument is this is such a shitty thing for them to do. I don't know why they would mix legal and moral.
Yeah. So when I wrote my message to them, I said, "Look, I sympathise with you. This is a shitty situation to be in, but I genuinely don't know what you wanted, what you're expecting out of this situation, because you don't own the song. As simple as that. You don't own the song. It's not yours. You can't claim the publishing on it. It's not your song, and you can't claim mechanicals on it because it's not your recording. So where is this?" I'm trying to plead with them. I'm like, look, all you are going to get with $15,000 is a happy lawyer who's going to take $15,000 from you, knowing full well that this will never go to court. And if it does, he won't have a hope in hell of winning it. But it doesn't matter because he got his $15,000. It's going to take a lot more money than that. I would imagine that the only hope that they have of this is approaching the TV company with it and them immediately choosing to settle in order to make the situation go away. To save everyone more money.
And a bit of embarrassment. Surely that would... I would think the TV company, if that is the route they're going to go, are thinking of their public image.
Yeah.
They're like, cool. So if this continues to be a story, people are going to be damaged by the idea that these are original compositions when they're not.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're doing our versions of whatever, blah, blah, blah. But
it's just like, I'll give you another example, right? Johnny Cash, Hurt. you know, I think if the song "Hurt" was going to be used in a television singing competition like that, it's probably a good candidate for a song like to be used in that sort of setting, right? Who's going to get paid?
In fact, there's an even better example than that. Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell owns the rights to all the songs that are the Christmas #1 the X Factor goes for.
Yeah.
And he always makes sure there's competitors singing the same song. And he owns the publishing rights.
Yeah.
That's why Hallelujah had about 9 versions in the charts going for Christmas. We want Jeff Buckley's. No, we actually want the original. No, we want fucking Leona Lewis or somebody that fucking sung it as well. Like, the only person that wins here is Simon Cowell.
Simon doesn't own the publishing tag, does he? So Leonard Cohen.
It might not be that song, but my
Yeah, but
point
I know
stands,
what
right?
you're
It's like
getting at.
everything you find the X Factor is doing up to Christmas, and the original's probably being pushed at the same time as, no, don't put that, you want this one because it's the better one. That's just him going, make me money.
But no, the example I'm giving with the Johnny Cash thing is, in that situation, like, what do you think? Who do you expect the TV company to credit? They're gonna credit Nine Inch Nails. It's a Nine Inch Nails song. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry, as you're right. Why did I have the wrong way around? Fucking idiot. Sorry, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Yes. I mean, I'd be awfully embarrassed if
No,
I'm
you're
wrong
right.
about that. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Apologies. I'm just being a total fanny here.
So it's gonna say "Hurt," Trent Reznor,
Correct, because that's the writer.
and there would be no reason that it would ever say "Hurt," Trent Reznor, also Johnny Cash, because it doesn't matter how good a cover you do of something. You can't just piggyback on the writing of who originally wrote it.
No, you're right.
And that seems to be what Halocene seem to be going for here.
Mm-hmm.
We've done such a unique version of it. I just think that all versions of the song in future should be credited to Billie Eilish and us.
That's not what they're saying.
What are they trying to go for then?
This company has stolen the compositional version of this song that we have created, we worked on.
Yeah, so they
All we're
expect
looking they want
credit for it.
for that version, not for Billie Eilish's song, not for every other version.
Yeah, but
for that literal version.
But Billie Eilish owns it.
Of course, I know, but I can see what they're going for.
I can
I'm
see
not-
the emotional upset and the frustration that would come with this, but they are desperately trying to lay claim to something that they have licensed from someone else.
I'm not arguing that, like, from a technical standpoint, they wrote something. I'm not saying that, but I can see their logic is we've created something from something else. It's our modification,
Yeah.
and that exact modification is being stolen.
Sure.
It doesn't matter that's a modification of the original. They're
Yeah.
not arguing they own anything to the original. What they're arguing is this is our version. This is what we worked on, and we just
Yes.
want credit. I would assume.
They want money.
Well, I don't know, obviously, because you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
cool. We want what we think we are rightfully owed because this is our version. We worked hard on it. I can see where they're coming from, but I'm absolutely not validating what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know
Your
what I mean?
version of the song still exists. That's just the nature of doing a cover. That is just the nature of doing a cover. But more importantly, like, do you think that... Let's put it... How do I put this? Do you think that the Masked Singer needed to approach you and ask for permission to do your version of the song? Because again, that's not how covers work. You have to license the publishing. But like, if I play a gig and I want to do a fucking Billie Eilish song on it, I do a Billie Eilish song on it. Probably won't, because I don't think I've heard any Billie Eilish songs, because I don't listen to any modern music. But
It's not your cup, I don't think. There's a lot of cool vocal harmonies,
I like that.
but it's just like 3 or 4 layers of, like, maybe a major chord or minor or whatever. But they're not bad.
Sure.
It's not my cup of music either. Cup of tea either. It's not my kind of music.
Yeah. So interested to see where this goes. Mark my words, it won't go anywhere. It won't go anywhere.
Aye.
And not because they're not raising the money. It won't go anywhere because you do not, in my opinion, not as a lawyer, but somebody that evidently seems to think they're a music lawyer, somebody that definitely has an interest. I do have an interest in music business law.
Really? I'm sure none of the
I
listeners
know.
have ever thought that.
You posted this.
I know. Because I knew you'd be like a fucking dog in heat going after it.
I just don't think you have any sort of legal argument here.
There's not.
You could, the only thing you'd be able to do with this is hopefully moving forward use this as an example of something that would bring forth some sort of change in the way
set
the
a
laws
precedent.
work around these types of things.
Or it's a big publicity stunt for them to raise their own profile as reharmonisers and songwriters in their own accord.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the case, but it'd be a clever move.
Yeah. It's actually the interesting thing that I noticed about this, because this is something that I've learned. I learned very quickly when I started taking an interest in legal things. Is when you look at this, you can't when you're writing a lawsuit, you can't make legal conclusions in your accusations. So you can't.
You can't say that this is definitively this.
Yes, because it hasn't been decided that by law. And clearly they've definitely spoke to someone about this, because when you go here, at the bottom here, there's a legal disclaimer that says the comments and views expressed in this video are our personal opinions. This video does not confirm or represent any legal verdict yet. Such is still to be determined.
But please let us know what you think.
Yeah.
They don't seem as if they're stupid. They clearly have a good idea of business.
Yes.
But I think they might be misguided in what they think they're going to get for this. I think at most they were going to get a bit of credit of like reimagined by Halocene.
And that's really, I guess, what this comes down to. Because again, you know what? Let me just read my tweets and because I want you to know that like I was supportive of their situation, and I feel that they do deserve better than what they're getting. But so I said to them, hey, I'm covering your story on my podcast. I'm looking for your comment if possible. I'm not really sure what to make of this whole situation. It's clear as day from the comparison clips that it's a cover of your cover. There's no disputing that. But am I missing something here? It's a cover, no? You might own the mechanical rights to your recording, but you don't own the publishing, do you? You license that to make your cover. Would it not be safe to assume that the TV show also did the same? I'm not disputing that their arrangement is clearly yours, but you can only copyright a song once, and you don't own the copyright for this song, surely. To be clear, I sympathise, and it must suck, but I also don't really see what your claim is. You clearly know this industry too. Hell, you're going to the effort of paying for your covers, so you're 99% ahead of the curve. But I'm struggling to see what legal case you have here, other than for your super helpful lawyer to milk you for $15,000, knowing that he's going to lose any comment.
3 hours, no replies.
No surprise there.
Plenty of time for them to get back to you, to be fair.
Yeah, if I get a reply, I'll obviously report back on this. But I wish there was a better legal argument for them. I wish that they could. They did have some way to be compensated for this, but I just don't get it.
The only way there's going to be compensation is if there's a public backlash and the people behind the Masked Singer go, right, cool, we need to save face.
Yes. Yeah, and that's very possible because, a situation like this, when you read the comments on this is wrong. What? Nobody should steal anyone's art, but it's especially heinous and disgusting when a big company screws over smaller groups. The only way this will work is by presenting it to your fan base as though you have been wronged, and because the people that are in your fan base don't know the ins and outs of how the music business works, they will assume that you have been wronged. Because I do understand that from an outside perspective, if you don't have an understanding of how music publishing works, that you would look at this and you would immediately go, well, that can't be legal. Because it's a nuanced subject.
See, they're two different arguments. Sorry
Sure.
to diverge into it, but like whether you've been wronged or whether it's legal are two different arguments, I think. And I think, I'm not saying that they should be able to make the difference and blah, 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 but I think they've been wronged.
I agree.
I'm not saying they need to have any sort of, like, I don't think legal recourse is the right way to deal with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as simple as they have to put it forward to their fan base and their supporters in a way that makes them not understand the legalities of it. It'd be fine if their argument is, look, we understand that legally there's nothing we can do.
But clearly they don't understand that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that because I wanna just keep reiterating that. I agree with you. They have been wronged.
Totally.
Morally, they have been wronged, and I think that there should be a better system in place for them. But unfortunately, I don't believe legally they've been wronged.
I don't know how you go roundabout.
You'd have to change the law. That's just not going to happen.
No, certainly
because
not.
If you change the law, go with me on this. If you change the law so that when Halocene do a cover of a song in future like this, the person that does the cover also owns some sort of right of composition and publishing on it, then you are considerably less likely to be able to secure a license to do it in the first place. Because Billie Eilish is going to look at it and go, cool, I'm just not going to license my stuff out to anyone because I own this song. And I don't want you, doesn't matter how good you are at what you do, I don't want you taking my composition and piggybacking off its success, twisting it around and doing your own thing with it, and then monetizing it for yourself.
But is that not how YouTube pay it out as well anyway?
How do you mean?
Do you not get like a shared revenue?
On okay, when I say monetized, like obviously when you license it out for them to do their cover on YouTube, Billie Eilish, her publisher will know. Sorry, publisher's going to know that, yeah, sure, that means that they are going to be making revenue on this specific video. But to grant that license and then say what is also going to come with this license is your cover will become a composition in its own right, and then you will be able to then essentially license out your cover to people, because then that usurps the original market. If this cover doesn't exist as its own commercially viable product, then the only option is to go to the original song and license the original song. So, like if that was the way the law worked, I'm not going to license my songs out for you to cover. So I think the whole concept of this is, in theory, it's done the way it is so it works for everyone. And then every now and again, you can have a situation like this that you can look at and go, well, that's a shame. But it is a shame.
Very shitty of the Masked Singer to do it. Can it be disputed in court? Probably not.
Probably not. Anyway, should we move on to this interview?
Let's do it.
Cool. So now we're going to move on to, I didn't announce it at the start, move on to an interview with Keith Gannon. Gannon?
I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
Keith Gannon from Essex Recording Studios in Chelmsford. We spoke about the gentleman who... Did we speak about it in the last episode?
No.
No, we didn't. Sorry, I posted it. That's
as soon as you posted it, I was like, I'm going to reach out to this guy.
Yeah. So, in fact, I'm not even going to introduce it. I'll just let him do his own introduction.
Yeah. So, let's check it out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. It is time for another interview, and today we've got a really interesting guy to talk to, actually, Mr. Keith Gannon. How's it going?
It's going great, man.
Cool. So you are the gentleman that purchased, how many was it?
It's about 18 guitars.
18 of Dave Mustaine's guitars when they went for sale up on the Reverb store. Now, when I saw this, Mike posted this, my immediate thought was to reach out to you because I checked your video out. Really enjoyable video. Loved the kind of approach that you're taking to these. And of course, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail as we go on. But I was quite shocked to see a shit ton of negative comments that you were getting from people. People were really upset about this. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've done, and why you think that might have upset some people.
Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce you to the internet, which is run and fueled off of hate and jealousy and bitterness and just negative feelings in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But I mean, it just goes with the territory. So introducing myself, I'm Keith. You can tell by my accent, I'm American. I've been here in the UK for about 7 years. And I started Essex Recording Studios with my British partner, my hetero life mate, James Curtis Thomas. He's the engineer and creative extraordinaire here at the studio. And that was back in March 2017. It was a really cool story how we got together. I was dating a country singer, a British country singer here. I did not know those existed. It was quite shocking to me. Well, it's nuts, man. You drive around the whole country and like you're going through the radio stations and sure, you've got a lot of like top 40 pop stuff. Yeah. There's no rock stations. There's like no metal stations. And then all of a sudden like Dolly Parton will come on the air and you're like, what is this?
Yep.
So there's a few country music stations and there's quite a big scene. And I was dating a girl involved in this scene. She had never recorded in a studio before. And James, he had a place right across the street from my house, actually. We went in there. We knocked out a single. It was on BBC Introducing in a week. It was on Chris Country a week after that. And it was with Bob Harris on Radio 2 like 2 weeks after that.
Nice.
So that was the beginning of our bromance. And I was in the motor trade here and was pretty fed up with it. So we decided to go into business together, and I cashed in my car chips and pretty much swapped cars for guitars. And that's a big part of why we've got like a gazillion of them over here.
Yeah, we saw some of them while you were showing us around, and there are definitely more guitars than I'd. You're beyond that point of even. There are so many guitars there that you will open a box, see one, and forget that you even had that one, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's we've got guitars coming in every day. I have people ask me when they're recording here, they're like, "What's that?" I said, "I have no idea, no clue."
You weren't the same with your cars, were you?
What's that?
You weren't the same with your cars. You didn't have so many. You didn't know what they were, did you?
It used to be that way. Yeah, I used to have about 100, 150, 160 at any given time. So
wow.
There's definitely been like, oh yeah, where's the Mondeo? Where'd that go? We actually had one. We had a crazy story. We had one missing that for a month. We had no idea that someone had owed finance on it and it was repossessed off our premises like a month prior. Didn't even notice it. But our accountability these days are a lot better. That ain't happening with the guitars.
Good. So yeah, you're based in Chelmsford, right?
Correct, sir.
Yeah. So for our English listeners that are listening, you can head on down. Check out Essex Recording Studios. It's somewhere that you can record. By all accounts, it looks like a nice place to go if you want to play some really, really cool guitars, including some that we'll talk about in a second. It makes me miss home, actually, Chelmsford, because that's Essex. That's around where I grew up. It's been a long time since I've been back down that way. So it's nice to talk to someone that has, moved in on my territory while I moved in on yours.
It's true.
Yeah. So you've been a lifelong Megadeth fan, right?
Longtime metal fan, man. It started with Nirvana. That was my first CD I ever owned, and I took my sister's acoustic guitar and learned how to play "Come As You Are," and then that went to the Black Album with Metallica. That went to Pantera, Megadeth, and then eventually we went on to Lamb of God and other heavier, harder stuff. Yeah, man. I mean, Holy Wars is one of my favorite songs of all time. That I think, anyone that likes metal, that's got to be up there in their top 10.
Yep.
So it's been killer, man. The first time I saw Dave Mustaine and Megadeth was actually at a super small gig in 2004. The band was, I don't know what happened in their career, but they went from being mega to doing like shows to 500 people. It was crazy, the venue where I saw them.
I think that was Risk that done that, wasn't it?
I mean, I could have just walked up and punched the nuts. Like it was a super small show. And it was great though, because they treated it like it was a 40,000 person arena. It blew my mind. And I think the last time I saw them was with Lamb of God, when they did Wembley, and it was like the day after the horrible shooting in Paris for the Eagles of Death Metal, and Wembley was all lit up with the French flag as we got there for the gig, and it was awesome, man. It was a killer show.
I can just imagine Dave that night thinking, "Man, I really need to knock Tout Le Monde out of the park tonight." this is a lot of pressure. Yeah. So, all right. So you're a big fan. You obviously like collecting guitars. You see that Dave Mustaine is selling a large portion of his collection. Walk us through what happens next.
All right. So here's what happens. I'm on Reverb all day, every day. I've got a big shop on there, and I'm constantly hitting F5 on the keyboard, looking, to see what messages are coming through, what deals are coming through. For whatever reason, the push notifications on Reverb don't work quite as well as, like, say, on eBay, where you get like a little cash register sound, ka-ching, So I'm constantly going up to my laptop, hitting F5, seeing what's going on, and I always miss out on these artist sales. I always find out about them way late. I never, I hear about it, they publicize it a month or two in advance, and then I just totally forget. And the next time I go and log on. It's like, oh yeah, that was yesterday. Everything sold out. Like the Green Day thing was crazy. They had like American straps for $400, $500, I think, in that shop. It was totally nuts. So I missed the boat for every single artist deal they had, and I saw, just like everybody else, the video on YouTube with Dave at the Reverb studio saying, yeah, we're going to do this. And I said, you know what? Not this time. This time I'm going to be Johnny on the spot. I'm going to bookmark it. I'm going to, send little alarms on my phone and everything like that. And yeah, man, I was ready to go.
Yeah, and so you mentioned in your video that you did that this involved you having to pre-warn credit card companies that you were going to be making a lot of purchases.
Wow.
How many did you plan on making?
I was planning on buying every goddamn thing, man, for sure. I called up Reverb because I had no idea how this was going to go. Sometimes you can just add to cart and click buy, and then you bought it. That's it, and then you can go pay and check out later.
Yeah.
So I called them up and I'm like, can I do that? Like, can I just go buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now? And they're like, no, you have to go and check out and go through the whole process, and then you own it. Now, I could have probably added everything to cart and then checked out, but
Sure.
my concern was while I'm going through each individual listing and adding it, that I would miss everything, you know?
Totally.
I thought I was only going to get one. I did not expect to get this much. So that's why I just went through one by one. There you go. Okay, cool. I was like, holy shit, the rest are still here? That's crazy. All right, next. Yeah, and that's it, man.
I mean, I'm just going to assume, given that you went from one to the next, that you had no hesitation in going for all of those guitars. I love that. I love the passion in it. Just like, I'm not going to scramble. I'm just going to buy this one. Cool. In the bag. That's still available. I'm having that. Like, was there at any point you thought, right, maybe this is going too far, or this can't be real? Like, that maybe like they're going to then stop the sales and say they've been sold too many times through Reverb or whatever?
No, man. Like I said, I'm on the site and the app every day. I'm one of the biggest users of the site. So no, there was no concerns about this not being real or it not working. Although you do bring up a valid point, I did buy something that wasn't in the sale at all. There was a glitch because I was buying so fast. Someone else got his Crybaby wah pedal. Again, it was like $80. And while I was checking out, they had some glitch and it wasn't available. So they injected a random brand new Crybaby wah from a shop in France. So I get this thing from France and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm seeing in the hate comments that we'll get to that, I'm sure, in the videos, one guy's like, well, he didn't buy everything because I got the Crybaby wah pedal. And I'm like, you bastard, you have my pedal. That's mine. But I mean, I let Reverb know, but I wasn't going to be like, I didn't get enough stuff in this sale. Go ahead and have that guy send it back so I can get my pedal. No, I mean, it just got sent back and it's a refund. And so there was actually a technical issue there, but no, you know what? I know how these sales go. I've been to so many auctions, whether it's the car auctions, whether it's stuff like Christie's, Sotheby's. It is an every man for himself environment, and in general, it goes in an instant. And the majority of buyers are not in the music industry. They're not in the music industry, and so those items are very unlikely to ever be made available to the general public in the future in any way, whether it's for sale, whether it's to be used, recorded with. Extremely unlikely. In fact, I mean, I'll put the question to you guys: when is the last time out of any of these musicians, celebrity artists, instrument sales, memorabilia sales, do you recall someone ever making a video going, yeah, I'm the one that bought all of it, here's where it's located, and you can use it?
Yeah,
You
so
know,
this is where I
can't
have to
blame
really,
anyone.
this is where I have really have to bat for you, because the amount of hate you've got on this, especially after you make a good point like that. Look at the Eric Clapton auction that we covered on the podcast a few months back, and all of his guitars, or David Gilmour's guitars, or whatever. These are
You know where
bought
they
up by
went?
collectors, rich, wealthy people. They're never ever going to be seen again. And when I
probably never
reached
gonna
out
be
to you, well, yeah, when I reached out to you to introduce myself, I told my story of, before Kirk Hammett bought Gary Moore / Peter Green's Les Paul, we had that in the Lick Library studio, and that was bought out from a vault. It was in a bank vault under lock and
Wow.
key, and it was sent out. The insurance company sent a guard with it, so there was someone with it
No
at
way.
all times, right?
That's
And sure, I was lucky enough to get to hold it. I was lucky enough to get to play it, but that's so unbelievably lucky. And that shouldn't
Yeah.
be the case with something as historic as that guitar. I'm not saying everyone should be able to play the damn thing, but it would be nice to know where these things are. It'd be nice to be able to go and see these things, to stare at them.
Totally.
So when things are, if something's in a museum, I'm okay with that. But if it's just in some rich guy's collection and you're never going to see it, then I don't think that's so cool. With you, you're offering people the opportunity to be able to come to Essex recording studios and they can play these guitars, right?
Man, if you so there's a lot of, to answer your question, yes, 100%, absolutely. But I'll take it even a step further. There's all this speculation like, you just bought it to flip it. No, yeah, you're gonna charge people. You're gonna gouge the prices at the studio for people to hire it, and you'll probably charge them $1,000 an hour just to come and play them, or charge them to play them at all. Man, if you called up the studio, which that number goes to my direct mobile phone, my cell phone. If you called me up and you said, "Hey Keith, my name's Mike, my name's Dave. We've never met, but I'm in town. If you're around the studio, I'd love to swing by and check out one of those guitars and take it for a test drive."
Yeah.
My answer would always be, by all means. Unless I'm not there or we're in the middle of the session, then my modified answer would be, absolutely, but can you wait till after the session I'm in the middle of? Yeah. It's crazy to me. Like, we don't have this studio. It's not some sort of cash cow. Being in the music industry, it's a labor of love, man. It's by and large not profitable.
As a man
so
that
we
runs a
wouldn't
studio, you're dead on. Even music retail is shit. So I can imagine
Right.
the kind of things you go through with the studio and stuff. So again, commendations to you in that.
Oh, thanks, man. But we wouldn't be spending. We have one life to spend on this rock, and we wouldn't be spending all this time doing all of this if we weren't super passionate about making awesome music, working with musicians, meeting other fans, and just having a good time.
Yeah.
So that was a huge part of what this was for. It wasn't. I've been compared to what's the guy's name? Martin Schenkel,
Yeah, Shkreli.
the guy that
Shkreli,
bought,
yeah.
Shkreli, the guy that bought like the HIV vaccinations and gouged the price 1,000%, and then bought the one Wu-Tang album for like $1 million. Like, yeah, man. I mean, my horns haven't grown in just yet, so it's not what we're about.
Oh, it's also like, I think there's so many great opportunities for those guitars. It wouldn't surprise me if some of the more prominent YouTube metal guitar players, well, not that it wouldn't surprise me, I would encourage them to reach out to you, come over to the studio and film some fucking Megadeth covers. That'd be cool. Ola England recording a Megadeth cover with Dave Mustaine's guitars. That's cool as shit.
And one of my first ports of call will be to the Jackson Made in USA Facebook group, because obviously Dave is most known for his Jacksons.
Yes.
Yep.
And the head of the Jackson group is a guy named Rob Logan out in Cambridge. And he's a huge fan. He's got one of Dave's signature Jacksons. Mm-hmm. And I think that would just be a great way to give back to the community, is to let a fellow super fan with a huge connection to the instruments come in and probably shoot some sort of collaboration video where we get a bunch of guys that we've got another friend who's endorsed by Jackson here in the UK. Have a bunch of these guys come in, really put the guitars through their paces, and show fans up close what they really look like as if they're holding them in their own hands, and what they really sound like. And I think that it'll be a lot of fun, man. And that's nothing that anybody else would have done if they bought these. You know.
So here's this isn't even close to controversial to me, but it's totally going to be to many people that have followed this story. This is the part that's controversial. Inevitably, there will come a point where you will sell these guitars, right?
Oh yeah.
So fucking what? Like,
Well said.
you know what I mean? Like, that's just how things work in the world. The fact that you've taken them, you're allowing people to use them, hell, even if you weren't, that's just the society we live in. I don't necessarily think that, I could be wrong, but I don't think you've done this solely for profit. You're a Megadeth fan. And this is you've got the opportunity to do this. And the argument of, let some of the other fans get some action. Motherfuckers, you couldn't afford these guitars even if you wanted to buy them. And if you could, guess what? There were 18 of them. How many Megadeth fans are there?
Here's the evidence.
Tens of millions.
Yeah. Exactly. The evidence I see that clearly you're not doing it to shift them is the fact that you showed us easily hundreds of guitars there, Keith. You know what I mean? You've got so much stuff sitting there that if you were bothered for money, you would not have hundreds of guitars literally all sitting in cases and rooms. So anyone who's thinking, you're going to buy that to flip it for profit, well, he doesn't need to. So whether he does or not doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
And clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, and part of my philosophy too is we talked about this in the video I did explaining kind of the how the studio runs. The gear sales definitely heavily support the studio and our ability. Like, man, we do a lot of grants for artists. We do a lot of subsidized recording. We do a lot of pre-recording for emerging talent. The gear sales, for sure, make it possible. But these instruments are just part of my story. I'm just part of their story. I don't believe in hoarding these things and, like you said, locking them in a bank vault. Like, I don't want to keep anything forever. I want to enjoy it. I want to experience it. And I wouldn't be able to have a huge variety of instruments to enjoy and experience and for our artists to enjoy and experience if I just kept them forever. I'd run out of space, I'd run out of money, and then that would be the end.
Yeah.
So, it's a necessity to eventually part ways with them. And raise your hand if you know anybody on the planet who would have bought one of those and then said, you know what? I feel like it's just the right thing to sell it at a loss. Or I think I shouldn't I shouldn't put it up in an auction. I shouldn't ask for more money. I should just put it up for the same price I bought it for.
Yeah.
Come on. Give me a break. Not a soul on the planet would do that.
Well, more importantly, like, if there are two fans that want to buy one of those guitars from you, what? Do you just turn around to one of them and say, well, unfortunately, the other guy has offered the amount that I paid for it, so you're shit out of luck? Like, come on. The guitars have value to people, and that's cool. So
these are emotional, knee-jerk reactions. They're human reactions. They're totally expected. You know what's really funny is nobody behaves this way or responds this way to, like, houses. You never go like, Bob, you bought the 2-story with the three bedroom and the 2-bath down at the end of the street. That was you. And when you sell it, you're gonna ask for $20,000 more. You piece of shit. What? Like, nobody does that. Yeah. But it's 100%. It's the emotional attachment to the music and to these pieces of wood with magnets on it. Because at the end of the day, that's what they are.
Well, and also the mob mentality. Like, as soon as one person sees somebody shouting at you in the comments, suddenly they feel, oh, it's okay, I can shout at him too.
Flame
and before
on.
you know it, you've got thousands of people that are they're not really sure why they're angry at you. They can't really voice it in any way other than, it would be nice if I could have had one. Do you have any money?
Well, you should have bought one.
Well,
and if you do, you can have one. Buy one from him.
You bring up a really great point, because I got to see kind of a bird's eye view of the whole ordeal. So what was really interesting is who came out first with the position that got the most initial likes, to where, like, for instance, this Russian video was made. That Russian video was made. That guy's got like 18,000 subscribers, and I'm one of the top videos on his channel. But he told all of his followers, go dislike this video. Go, you know, he deserves every bad comment, go everything. And so everyone's like, okay, there we go. Now, I think it was Metal Injection or Metal Sucks,
Yeah.
did a post to like 1 million followers on Facebook, and straight away I said, you know what, on that one, I'm going to leave the first comment, and I'm just going to control the narrative. I said, guys, anybody who wants to come play with these guitars, you're more than welcome to, and we won't charge you a penny. You know, if you want to just come hang out, touch them, plug them into a Marshall and rock out for 20 minutes, have fun.
Yeah.
And that, boom, rose to the top. And now that story, totally different tone.
Yeah.
Trogley's thing has 1,000, like the Trogley videos got 1,000 or 2,000 likes on that, because again, he's a fellow guitar buyer, seller, fan. So he's coming at it from a different perspective, and thus he controls the narrative. And yeah, wildly different reaction there.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be completely agnostic, because obviously I have a view and I don't think you've done anything wrong. But, you know, I've got 20,000, 21,000 subscribers. Hopefully all of them will watch this. Probably not. But guys, make up your own mind. Like,
for sure.
If you think Keith sucks, by all means think that. No reason to go and shout abuse at him. If you think that he's doing a cool thing and you want to go and play one of these guitars, reach out. Do it. Keep the history of this stuff alive.
They can shout as much abuse as they want. We love it. It just drives up engagement on the videos, and
shh, don't tell them.
Beer on the weekend.
It's the only reason people listen to us is because we're assholes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to close.
You got it. Yes.
We're going to close things up with some quick fire questions for you. Some Megadeth related quick fire questions. Is that cool?
I've got.
Oh, go on. 2
quick questions before we go on to that, if that's okay. First of all,
do
you have any guitars in your personal vault or your personal stash that you won't get rid of?
Everything is always for sale, man, because you know what? I could always go and order, you know, call up a custom shop, and it might be a stupid price, but in general, you can always order another one. You know, the only thing you can't replace is sentimentality, like, hey, if someone owned it or someone played it, or if it was used on something big. But you know what? Again, I don't think I should hoard that forever. I like the fact that I enjoyed it. I made a video of it. I shared it with everyone, and eventually someone else will get to have it. Now, that being said, I do generally keep a couple very high-end instruments in my bedroom. Mm-hmm. And so there was 2 that I had very recently that stayed with me in my bedroom, and that was Matt Tuck's 1965 Fender Strat.
Right.
That he bought in Chicago and he brought here to the studio, and that was used to record on some Bullet for My Valentine tracks.
That's cool.
And then what was I gonna say? The other guitar I had was a Mike Shannon master built 30th anniversary Jackson Soloist.
Wow.
That they made 30 of. And my first guitar ever was a Jackson. It's my favorite brand, and that was a really special guitar to have. So those were the 2 that were in my bedroom for quite a while. Yeah.
That kind of leads me on to my second question, because I was going to ask as a follow-up to that, what's the one that got away? But I get the impression it might be the Mike Shannon.
No. I can tell you that one. The one that I wish I still had.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in a better financial position at the time, the aluminum, or as we say here in the UK, aluminium, Roswell Rhodes, I just freaking love those things. I think they're totally rad. I hated them when they came out, but now I just think they're totally awesome. That was one. And then when I was one of the first guitars I ever sold on eBay, when eBay just came out, that was my side hustle when I was a teenager. I had a Jackson Dinky USA with a Chinese dragon, the Chinese New Year dragon graphic on it. That was just the best playing guitar I've ever had. And unfortunately, you know, I was trying to make some extra money. Mm-hmm. I sold that years and years ago, but that would have been one that's definitely like the one that got away.
Right, cool. Well, I'll put it out here in case there's any listeners who spot that on eBay or Reverb or have it in their own collection. Hit Keith up.
Very
and see what
rare
he says.
guitar.
Yeah, buy it. You might be able to trade it for a Megadeth guitar. Okay, cool. So these quick fire questions, these will be fine.
Quick fire questions with Megadeth. Just so you know, if you're asking me like anything chronological or anything
Oh,
like
no,
that,
no, no.
my date names, and
No.
I'm terrible with dates and names.
No. I'm going to ask your opinion on things rather than I'm not quizzing you. It's not like I'm checking whether or not you're a fan.
Yeah. Are you worthy of having those 18 guitars, Keith? Are you allowed to buy them?
Okay, so favorite Megadeth album.
Sympathy for Destruction.
Okay. Favorite guitarist.
Marty Friedman.
Yes.
I'm waiting to the day when I ask that question and then someone turns to me and says, Dave Mustaine, duh.
No. Look. I love Dave Mustaine, but Marty Friedman's the man.
Yeah.
And his Jackson Kelly signature guitar, with the quilt top, the black quilt top.
Mhm.
That's actually, if you want to talk about one that got away, that is probably the number one guitar on my hit list that I've never owned that I desperately want.
Is that the single humbucker in the bridge?
Yes, sir. That's the one.
Oh man, I've fantasized about one of those for years as well. So you and I also.
Yeah, he's more likely
Yeah,
to get
man.
it than you.
Oh, totally. I mean, you're lucky if you're lucky if I can afford 1 or 2 guitars a year.
Yeah.
So
I haven't really written this one down, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Least favorite guitarist.
Least favorite guitarist. You know what? I'm not gonna. I don't have a least favorite guitarist. I think they all rock. Everyone hates on Chris Broderick.
Yeah.
I don't think it's deserved. I had 2 of his signature guitars that I actually had the last guitar he played with Megadeth.
wow.
It's the very last one he played on stage with Megadeth, and I had his white custom signature built by Mike Shannon that he used on the record with them. But like that's everybody's go-to answer from what I see, like on the Jackson groups and stuff like that. But I think they're all phenomenal. They're all very different. They all have their own thing. I mean, to be quite honest, I think the person who's technically weakest and always has been guitar-wise is probably Dave himself.
Yes.
You know,
That's what I thought the obvious answer was.
But no. If you ask like regular people that question, from what I've seen, Chris Broderick's like always a guy that comes up.
Yeah.
I find it really weird because I don't know if it's maybe just because he didn't fit with the band in some people's eyes. Because I think Chris Broderick is an incredible musician.
Yeah.
What a player he is as well. But then you think like guys who, if you're going to go on the technical level, Al Pitrelli wasn't mega over the top in comparison to everybody else.
Right.
So it always bewilders me, like you say, that people always go straight for Chris Broderick, like they're going for the jugular, like, but the guy can play.
Yeah.
You can't,
Oh, yeah.
you can't argue that.
For me, it's just a case of... Go on.
By the way, I have to kick myself. I said Symphony for Destruction. It's Countdown to Extinction.
Countdown to Extinction.
And I knew as soon as I said it, I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Terrible with names there.
I mean, I have done that myself when interviewing actual artists, talking to them about my favorite albums of theirs, and I'm relentlessly saying the wrong name. We know what you meant.
That's all right.
Okay, so underrated song.
Ooh, so underrated song. I'm trying to. There's 2 because there's 2. There's one I do at karaoke that I love.
Can I give you my answer while you're thinking, just to give you a bit of breathing space?
Yeah, go on.
I'll tell you overrated song. How about that?
Yeah, go for it. I love it.
I'll tell you. Tornado of Souls, I think, is overrated.
Really?
I know where he's coming
do.
from. I don't think the song itself is incredible. I think it just has an incredible guitar solo.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. The riffs are good in it.
That's exactly how I feel, and yet that is always seems to come up as number one. When they're brought up, but
go on, Mike.
yeah,
Give me your underrated.
My
song.
underrated song is "The Killing Road."
Okay. Why?
Because it's Tornado of Souls except with better riffs. It's a better song, but it's got exactly the same because Martin Friedman comes in with this unbelievable solo.
Yes.
I'll give you an underrated song, right? I'm going to go with
Okay.
This Was My Life off of Countdown to Extinction.
Good tune.
Ooh,
I don't. You know, I don't
like
think
that.
the main hook when the chorus hits, when the chorus finishes, not that good. But the verse riff and the guitar riff that Dave plays and sings over the start of that chorus, so unbelievably cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one I really dig. Have you got one for us?
So my favorite song is probably, I love Sweating Bullets. I think it's my favorite song. I did it in Krakow. I did it karaoke. I couldn't believe they had it for karaoke, and we got like a standing ovation. It was completely ridiculous. We were totally pissed drunk, but man, I just think that song is so fun, and that if you aren't a Megadeth fan, you could listen to that and be like, "That's freaking cool."
Yep.
But I think that one's underrated.
I can go with
Yeah,
that.
and I think that's actually about the only showcase I can think that stands out for me of Dave Mustaine being able to play a solo that isn't ear-piercing and painful.
Yeah. Best artwork.
Oh man. Best artwork. I'm trying to remember. Definitely the earliest stuff. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up their album covers right now.
Go for it.
Because I think the newer ones were garbage. Like I would vote for Symphony for Destruction, or not Symphony for
Countdown to Extinction.
Countdown to Extinction. I think is the worst cover.
Really?
I think Rust in Peace is I like that one.
That is a cool as fuck
That's
album.
kind of the one that's kind of the one I think of when I think of Megadeth.
Mm-hmm.
The one that always comes to my mind.
I always get sucked in with Peace Sells, just hanging over the sign. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. Then again, I'm always really attracted to anything that looks kind of like post-apocalyptic. So that just fits the narrative for me.
Rust in peace, man.
For sure.
Fair enough. I mean, okay, but we're all right.
With Rust in Peace, like I feel that's an album cover that I can look at every year and I'll find something new that I love about it.
Fair.
Yeah, so dig that. Here's probably a real on the spot one because I don't even know what I'd say to this, right? But because obviously Megadeth, Dave has done these fair amount of covers over the years.
Mm-hmm.
What's a cover that you would love to see, or hear? What's a cover you'd love to hear?
Oh man, the covers album that they did was awesome, and I love their cover of Paranoid. I thought that I like it better than the original.
Wow.
But I'm trying to think of one that his voice would be suitable for because it's so distinct. You know, I'd like to see him turn something way out of the genre, like not cover a metal song or not even a rock song. What could he cover that would be bad at? You know what he should do? A Johnny Cash song.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he could do something really cool with I don't know, Walk the Line or Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear that.
When you said like you're thinking, well, you mentioned Paranoid. I'm thinking, imagine Dave doing like an old song, and then all I could imagine, with Dave's unique voice, is him doing a bit of Zeppelin, going So I'm gonna have to tweet him and say, Dave,
some Bee Gees, right? Get that falsetto going.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeez.
Cool. Any answers for you on that, Mike? As it is a really odd question.
It's so off the wall that I can't think of anything where it would be like not just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A Blink-182 song. There you go. Linkin Park. That would.
No. He's going to do Black and White by Static X.
Yep.
Losing your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, Keith. Just going to thank you so much for giving us a bit of your time tonight. Any closing messages for our listeners?
Oh, dude, it's been a real pleasure. I've had a ton of fun with hanging out with you guys. And to everybody listening, just want to say, if you ever find yourself near London in the UK, you are all invited to swing by the studio. And it doesn't have to be Dave's guitars. We've got like 300 of them here. Come by. I'll make you a cup of coffee. You can have a beer, and we'll rock out and swap some more stories. No problem. You can follow us on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. It's at Essex Recording Studios.
Yep.
And that's it, man. Thank you so much for having me.
No
Thank
worries.
you for being here.
Thanks so much, and we'll keep in touch.
Right on. Cool.
Okay, so that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, actually. Really like the guy. Really, really like the guy. Was actually quite surprised. I know obviously he has spoke a lot about, you know, you want to come play the guitars, come play the guitars. I didn't judge him for assuming that was a business arrangement. Like, yeah, you want to play the guitars, you can come and rent some time in the studio and you know, you can play whatever you fucking want.
I don't think it'd be unreasonable to be like, right, cool, hire a room at 25 quid for 3 hours. At least that way we're covering the cost of the room to be open.
Yeah.
Play what you want.
Yeah, but for him to just completely throw that aside and just constantly reiterate the idea of, if you're in town, just hit me up. If you guys want to come play these guitars, we'll hang out. I don't mean to us. I mean to, you know, just people that are fans.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very specific. You know, I'm not going to charge you money for that. If I'm around and I've got some time, yeah, it'd be cool to sit and talk Megadeth. So yeah, really nice guy. Nice guy.
And clearly a killer collection of guitars.
Yes.
So anyone who's interested, Doug, you're probably going to be the first person I know that will probably go down there.
That's a good point, actually. He's not too far away.
No. So, Doug, you'll probably go.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's all that we have to talk about this week. So big thank you to Ormsby Guitars, friends, sponsors, builders of that lovely Goliath.
Hetero life partners.
I know.
I can just look at it.
If I wasn't poor, I'd have another one by now.
I'm sure something can be arranged.
No. Unless that guitar's getting arranged to be free. I'm going to need at least 6 weeks.
We can all dream.
Yeah. So please do head on over to Ormsby's website. Check out the upcoming run. The Rusty Cooley one's up now, yeah?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't looked in a few days. So
Check out the new Rusty Cooley. I mean, by the time this goes up, I'm sure those will definitely be up. Check them out. Just let us know what you think. Send some pictures if you do pick one up. And yeah, all of that good stuff. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please do like, subscribe.
Just going to say one last wee thing before we wrap up. I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Have you heard the Enigma Division's Conor McGowan's band's album teaser?
No.
It's 3 minutes of cinematic and shred lunacy.
I know you're a big fan of his.
I don't know, like, I've not heard enough of his stuff to be like, cool, I get him. Because see, every time he plays, it's always something catches me and I'm like, fuck. I right. Levi, the trailer, right? You're right. The Enigma Division, 1977. It's on YouTube. I'm not wanting to fucking steal his thunder. Go and give them the views because they deserve it. It's only 3 minutes. It's like a kind of symphonic intro over some really cool footage of space and shuttle launches, etc. And then it just comes in with these frightening arpeggios. And I don't know if these bored of sweep picking and arpeggios, but go and fucking listen to it, man. Jesus fucking Christ. And the tone on it, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
3 minutes well invested.
Yeah, I can't believe we've managed to go through this entire episode without talking about technical guitar players and the massive backlash that there is on fakers now. But that'll be a subject for next time.
You know what? I think we started that by talking shit about Charles Carswell, etc. And then the people who wanted to take it super serious rather than just have it as like just dismiss them, rather than let's prove them wrong, have all went with it, like fucking Tom Goldschlager and Bradley Hall and a couple other dudes, just like, you've clearly faked it. I've not watched the video of Tom Goldschlager and Kevin Heidrich, but if Kevin Heidrich's playing guitar, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
yeah, I'm just sitting there going, cool. Nice to see you guys finally catching up.
Yeah, that's kind of how it
Been
feels.
on this for 4 fucking years.
And you know what? No, it sounds really strange. I think Kieran's video, which is clearly like a parody, homage,
The
joke,
funniest thing I've ever seen.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously because I filmed it. And he's playing some beautiful guitars in that video. Doesn't anyone agree?
I mean, mine was just across the road and you didn't add it in.
I know. It'd have been great to add in a 7-string, actually. I didn't even think of that. Anyway, that seems to have picked up some traction as well, and there's quite a few haters on the comment section.
Are there?
On the Charles Carswell one, see that he's got the reacts to or whatever, it's people saying things about Kieran. It's like, or on Kieran's, like, yous are actual gimps. You're getting upset because a guy kidding on he was playing guitar was using, like, miming along and it's a bit of a nod towards Charles. It's gave him more views. Like, the guy's get like a 10th of the fucking subscribers that Kieran's got, and it's the same as like the Heart Machine thing. He's having fun. Even Charles Caswell said, "I really enjoyed the video. I thought it was good fun. I'm glad he'd covered it. I'm glad he likes the music enough to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Or that he's even gave it enough time to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Like, why does the internet have to be such a... I'm not even going to say it needs to... Why does it need to be such a cesspool? Because you and I are literally just sitting here talking shit about people. I'm talking shit about people talking shit. This is Inception. Fuck me.
I'll just wait till we go see Rings of Saturn in February. Yeah.
By the way, I've got some objections to that because I know the drummer and I don't really want to ruin my relationship with him.
Oh, okay. Don't you partake then?
I don't mean like not going to the gig. I just mean you're
Throwing a pint at Lucas Mann.
you're half joking heckling.
Why is this joking?
See, they go,
Nothing will be fun. Like, we're playing in a band, well, probably not so much for you, but playing in a band, you're always wary of drinks coming flying at you, right? It's when you're on stage.
I try and drink them.
Exactly, right? But, yeah, something you're wary of. I imagine if you're Lucas Mann, it's something that you fucking dread. At all times, like, fuck, tonight's going to be the night. Because tonight will be the night I get hit with a fucking pint. I fall back covered in fucking beer, and yet my sweet picked up edges just keep on playing.
I mean, that video that came out of him doing the sweeps, whatever song it was, and it's just like a close-up of him at a show, and he's sweep him up and not picking any of the notes downwards, and they all have attack.
Right. But
Interesting.
Well, okay, so I don't need to do this then if you're friends with the drummer, do I?
But throw
Because you can
pints at him.
just
Throw pints at him.
yes.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to... I don't know the specifics of Mike's relationship with the band, but he's one of many members who've been with the band back and forth. Marco Petrozelli have done the drums on the album, etc. I don't really want to sour that relationship for him by being a total dick to Lucas Mann. When I can do that in my own right. Do you know what I mean?
But Mike, you could just get confirmation from somebody that played on the gig. You can just say how much stuff is on the tracks.
I could, but then I'd be potentially shitting on Mike's income, which is Rings of Saturn.
Right, point it is.
I wouldn't do that. Mike, I know for a fact you're not listening, but I'm going to put this comment out there anyway. Like, because you're a drummer who stays in America. Why would you be listening to a fucking podcast that a fucking Scotsman and an Englishman talking shit and pointed at your band? You're an incredible drummer. Got a lot of respect for you and a lot of time for you.
But my friend's an arsehole.
Exactly. He's a guitar hole. And
mate, imagine the kickback from the fucking audience.
I think you would be the asshole. I don't think anybody there thinks that.
Oh, I know.
All right. Well, we're arguing the same point.
I know.
You know, I'm just saying let's not throw pints at someone.
You're saying you'd be an arsehole to do that, and you're struggling with me going, I know.
I'm not struggling with it. I'm like...
You're expecting me to go, would I be?
No. Here's what it is, right? I'm on like kind of like a moral kind of fucking scale here. I'm like, would it be worse thinking that I might cause Mike problems by being a dick?
Why would it cause Mike problems?
Because I've mentioned him and you're asking if I'd speak to him, and I'm going to, if he's going to be playing in Glasgow, I'll go and hang about with him.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I'll make a conscious effort to say, look, you're coming to Glasgow. Do you want to go for a beer or something? Let me show you Glasgow a wee bit, right?
I want to take Lucas for a beer.
And throw it at him.
Send him a beer.
Right? So I'm weighing up this man's income versus what we've been arguing, that there are so many alleged fraudsters in the music community and we're trying to expose them. So
all I hear when you say that is when you had to put in the alleged part, and all I can see is the truth. And this would be the decider of that, wouldn't it? You'd have to you'd be the villain, and you'd either at the end of that go, but I was right, wasn't I? And everyone would go, okay, you were right. Or you'd just be the villain.
You think you're the Joker.
Yeah.
You're going to fuck a pint time and someone's like, why'd you do that for? And you go, you wouldn't get it. I can see it happening. Smoking a fag and laughing at yourself.
I'm just going to scream at him, you get what you fucking deserve. I guess that's not a reference unless you've seen the film. And I assume you haven't yet.
I have.
Oh, okay.
I went to cinema to see it.
Okay. Fine. Well, there you go. You get what you
we fucking
deserve.
spoke about it.
Did we?
Aye.
I don't know.
I'm pretty certain we did.
We spoke about it on the show like the day after I saw it, but I don't think I've caught up with you since.
Maybe not then, but yeah, I went to go and see it at the cinema. Fucking great. You were right.
Get what you deserve. Anyway, we will
Incredible
continue.
scene.
We'll continue this conversation off the air.
Yes.
Because these poor people have been listening to us for over 2 hours now.
Yes.
So.
Thanks for listening. Keep listening. Subscribe. Share. Check out Orange for Guitars. Check out Enigma Division's fucking album quickly teaser, because it honestly man blew the dick off me. In my opinion, absolute game. Create some sort of cool hashtag for us. Send us some free shit.
I mean, you're doing the sign off here, so you're going to have to say the next part.
No, that would be a total violation.
Until next time.
Bye, fuckers.